In front of my salad?
In front of my stream?
And all these people?
All these people. Hello, people.
Woo! So buckle up, y'all, because it's gonna be a long haul of a recap. We've got 3 days of of this convention to go over. Lots of drag, lots of interviews, lots of really cool stuff that I can't wait for y'all to see. That I've been like very excited to share with the community and with everybody.
Get your wish lists open on Steam.
Yes, that
Uh,
part.
because what do you want to talk about wish listing, or should I?
You know more about what it can do for a developer than I do. I know it's good for like helping with marketing internally with Steam
Yes.
because it's like the more popular, more like wanted your game is, the more boosted your game will be included in sale bundles, stuff like that, open to promotions.
Basically that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a metric thing, just like Twitch or anything else. It shows Twitch like the marketability and the demand, I guess, for a game, and it can boost the titles of the games or the developers or whatever towards a higher spot on lists, and gives them more opportunities, gives them more visibility as an indie developer, as a game. If you like a game, or you like the vibes, or you like the studio, or you like the devs, but you don't even necessarily want the game, just put it on your wish list. If you have friends that always buy things off your wish list, just send them a message and be like, wait on this
Don't
one.
buy me this one.
Don't
You
buy me
know?
this one. I'll get it when I want it. But
Yes, absolutely. It's a free way to help support small business, how to support
yeah,
small creators, and
follow them on Twitter.
yep.
Boost when they post like, oh, the early access is available, or ask questions when they are asking for those things on Twitter. Um, and if you're a dev in the chat, that goes the same for us. It goes both ways. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean, I think that's the fun thing about it is like we're gonna be throwing at you so many really cool, unique titles with interesting gameplay mechanics, interesting premises, and I think really what we ended up seeing collectively was really a good run of the gamut of everything. There's definitely like a consistent through line in some play styles that we played a lot of, or genres that are really popular right now, especially in indie scene things. I think we've got a lot of just really fantastic games to talk about.
Big
And
variety.
yeah, and we met some really cool developers that fingers crossed that this weekend was the start of a fantastic professional relationship with them.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go to day
Yeah,
zero.
let's get to moving.
We
Alrighty.
arrive.
And then we ate.
We ate, and then we prepped, but not that kind.
Yeah.
Day zero, I got my lanyard. Kara did not.
No, because I got in at like 8:30 and they closed at 8.
Yeah, so I got my little pass. I love our little pass. I like that it's kind of like a persona font.
Yeah, I thought that was cute too.
Yeah. They always try to make these really cool. I always like that they post the rules on the back, and like
Yeah.
there's always like the hours and information and other stuff on these. They're always really cool badges. I think I've kept all of them. But it's a Dawn Trail lanyard, which I was very happy to see.
Hmm.
And it's chromed out, but but it's very
Here,
cute.
I'll hold it up on mine because it's not chromed out for
Yeah.
me.
But it has these like little icons. So there's like the little nymphy thing. There's a Moogle. There's whatever that is. Oh, a cactuar. There's the little fish guys. There's the other guy. There's the little fat cat. Little logos. But on the other side, it's all Dawn Trail characters, and some of them I do not know. I don't recognize some of these characters at all. Like, who is this man? I don't know who that man is. Generic white man, number 3, number 4.
I need to get back into it because I absolutely said that if they ever added a Pictomancer class, that's what got me back into 14, and here we are.
Here we are.
And it's a DPS class, so I've got to.
Some might say that Ifrit should have lit a fire under your butt,
Yeah.
but he didn't. It just goes to show for y'all who have never been to PAX, or maybe you've been to a PAX or whatever, but they got AAA people, they got new
Yeah.
interesting things. Square Enix was there, Pokemon was there, Mountain Dew was there, you know.
Dunkin' Donuts was there.
Dunkin' Donuts was there. Idaho Potatoes was there.
I mean, I would say Doncho was. I would say that was the biggest thing.
I would
Square
say
being
it was
there.
right front and center.
Yeah, right when you walk in,
Yeah.
huge booth, always crazy busy. There were so many Doncho presentations over the weekend.
Are you ready to move to,
happened yet?
to day
I
one?
am. Woo!
Woo! It's the dawn of the first day. Oh, you woke up early?
Yes. So I woke up. I was probably like 8. We had our first interview was at 11, I believe. 11 or 11:30.
Our first
So I
was
got
at
up.
11.
Okay, I knew it was in the morning,
Or,
but I got
yeah.
up bright and early, plenty of time. I looked a mess in shambles, but we were right across the street from the convention center, so it was a very easy walk. I walked my happy little ass over there. I got my pass. They didn't know what to do with me because I went to the wrong line and did not know that I was in the wrong line. So they had like 5 people. It was a whole ordeal to give me my pass because they couldn't figure out why I was refunded, but then asking for a pass. So my pass does look a little different from Chalora's because I was there as a special guest, which we will get in there later. So I was not media, but I did tag along as if I was.
A special guest with a special quest.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
get media for West.
Yeah, that's it.
And then meanwhile, as
Meanwhile,
I'm doing all of this,
yeah, I'm trying to get ready.
Chalora's back in the hotel room, trying to have her morning coffee.
Trying very hard to have my morning coffee. The issue with the Keurig, I don't know if anyone here has the Keurig. I don't. So I didn't know what I was doing. I brought my own coffee, whatever. Shout out to Copper Cow. Y'all are amazing. Woman-owned business from Vietnam.
I was cosplaying as Tifa Lockhart from Final Fantasy VII. I had suspenders, but they did not want to cooperate, so I got rid of them. But it was a very comfy day for me. I was
Yeah.
still bodied, but I was like, this is the easiest outfit. It
Yeah.
was just a couple of tanks and some gloves and a skirt, and call it a day.
Yeah. I cosplayed Geraldine. I'm just kidding. There's no Geraldine. Because I usually wear a ball gown so people can't see my shoes. But listen, I don't want to hear nothing about no high heels walking around PAX. I walk.
Yeah.
And I stand and I go. It's not like an hour gig like you do at the drag shows. It's not like a catwalk. You have to stand and you have to walk and run up and
Yeah.
down stairs all over the place, all different kind, all terrain. Okay, some people got carpets. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I knew just from Chalora and her talking about how much zooming we would be doing, and looking at the map and seeing how spread out some of our appointments were. I was like, there's no way I'm wearing these heels all day. So I would wear them for pictures. I would wear them like every now and then because these ones weren't that bad to walk in.
Yep.
Because they're a chunky heel with a platform. So they were fine for the most part. But I was like, they're going to let me have a bag. I'm bringing my Converse with me. And so I had a couple of times over the weekend where I was like, we're doing a shoe change because I need to be able to walk.
I've done heels before at PAX because I was like, I'm in drag. I must be wearing heels. And blisters, real bad blisters day one. Then you go into your sneakers or your flip-flops or whatever that I brought, and it's still bad.
Yeah.
Like, it still hurts the whole time. So wear comfortable footwear.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no shame, okay?
Like, it was very, very fun day. I had never been to PAX, obviously. I know Chloe's very experienced with it. This is your 4th, correct? That you've gone to? For East, at least.
For East. So I guess like 8 or 9.
Because I'd never gone. I've never been to Boston. I've been to New York, but that's the only other time I've been, like, out East besides being in the Charlotte airport. So it was a new experience for me. Of course, people who I knew back home that knew I was going to Boston were all like, you're going to love the city. There's so many fun things to do, so many cool places to explore. And I was like, I will be in a hotel and then across the street from the hotel and then back in
That's
the hotel. The entire time I'm there, I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything.
But we were very tired.
Yes, it's a
So-
lot of. especially like if you're more introverted, it's a lot of social interaction and you're around a lot of people all day long.
Yeah.
So it drains you. Plus, like being in drag is tiring.
Yeah, your face hurts.
Yeah, like your face hurts. I'm in body, so I'm in pads and like 5 pairs of tights at all times. So, the circulation of it cutting into my waist, by that point, I was like, oh, who needs a cincher? I now have an indent from it.
Yeah.
First appointment.
Yeah, we went to Gudnak by Chaotic Great Games. I
Yes.
met Tim O'Brien, my very best friend from high school.
Oh yeah, he was so over the moon. It was like not a day had passed
Yeah.
since you had last seen each other. It was like
He
seeing...
looks exactly the same as he did in high school.
Oh yeah, that's him on the right in the photo.
Yeah, him over
behind
there.
me.
Yeah.
With the hat.
What is he holding in his hands, Chara?
He is holding our new special little friends, our little griff dogs. So this is...
We pulled them both at the same time out of nowhere.
I know, it's so convenient.
Oh, so amazing.
I know, but so cute. I thought this was such a fun little like piece of merch.
Yeah.
For your game, and like it's like high quality, it's well made. Very
Chara, you
cute,
slept
very
with
small.
yours.
I did. I snuggled with mine because I missed my dog from home. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, little baby, because she's not much bigger than this, in all honesty. So I was like, I need my little friend with their little
chicken
legs.
feet, yeah.
Yeah, they're so cute. But yeah, so the other fun thing when Tim gave us our little dogs was that they had little QR codes that you can scan to find out your dog's name and information about them. So we thought we would do that. We have it prepped in advance, but we have them scanned.
Yeah.
So we can find out in real time the name of our dogs and their personalities. I pick up my little baby. So
I look at your baby.
the baby looks at you. So we have here Bright Howl. Bright Howl is a deeply troubled youth who enjoys walks on the battlefield while playing fetch with orchids. So he's fun.
That's a pastime.
Yeah. And he's capable of a glare colder than the Lich's heart. Fun.
I saw the glare. And it was cold.
And as somebody who is quite infamous in my drag scene for having a bit of a bitch face,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty fitting pair. He likes to eat the innards of centaurs, the horse part, not the human. When caring for him, reward good behavior with treats made from the essence of sunlight.
The essence.
It's giving Goop. It's
Yeah.
giving Gwyneth Paltrow a little bit.
Treats are the essence of water. Water is the essence of moisture.
And then, in order to train Bright Howl, ask your local paladin to borrow their holy blade Dawnsteel. Then play fetch with it.
Yeah.
What's the deal with...
Oh,
with
my
your little
dog.
baby?
My dog is named Daylight Perch. Daylight Perch is an unyielding zealot with a burning passion for smiting the unworthy. Daylight Perch is more stubborn than a mule, enchanted with immovability. Fun! Just like my husband. Daylight Perch likes to eat that part of the elf ear that makes it pointy.
Oh, just the tip.
Just the tip. When caring for my new pal, train them with commands spoken in the ancient language of Solara. Well, I can't speak that, so I guess it's just going to be untrained forever. And in order to train Daylight Perch, ask your local paladin to borrow their Holy Blade Dawnsteel, which is the same as yours, I think.
Yeah.
Hi. It's you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a twofer right there.
Yeah.
It's two birds, one stone, I guess.
Yeah.
2 dogs, 1 blade.
2 dogs, 1 paladin, 1 blade. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
just
get
take their
together.
sword.
And we can get the blade, and we both throw, and whichever one goes first. Mine probably won't go because it's stubborn.
But I think that's such a fun little like world building thing
Yeah.
that they've done with this. So we can go ahead and play this little trailer for you all.
Oh, yes. Are you
So
ready?
get a little taste. Yeah.
The sun withers over the world of Gudnak, a fading ember casting long, cold shadows across the land. Factions take up arms, some desperate to preserve their way of life, others aiming to seize power from the panic, all hoping to determine the fate of Gudnak.
Sorry to interrupt. The winner of this card game does not have any power, express or implied, over fate-determining decisions in the world of Gudnak.
Okay. Align yourself to a faction, each with unique strengths, weaknesses, and strategies. Choose from the Zealous Refractory, the tenuous Shardsworn Alliance, the Unceasing and Undead Gloaming, or the Occult Delguon. Construct your army and deploy your forces. Outmaneuver and overpower your enemies with your superior tactical prowess.
Okay, just from a legal perspective, we must insist that you not actually destroy your opponent's cards. Thank you.
Use each card's unique impact on the battlefield to obliterate your opponent's pitiful death,
It's fine, actually.
mocking their lack of strategic depth
Wow, that is not nice.
as you grind their bones to dust.
Don't actually do that.
In the end, there can be only one victor. Siege your opponent's stronghold and claim victory for your faction.
Are you seriously lighting strongholds on fire now? Please, you at home, do not do this.
If one-on-one battle doesn't satiate your bloodlust,
Come on, man!
invite a couple more combatants to the battlefield with 4-player teams or free-for-all modes. So, will you be this world's savior or its harbinger of doom?
All right, I quit.
I didn't know anything about Gudnak before we went in. I just knew it was a card game.
Same.
And I've been getting a little bit more into tabletop things just because of like D&D and like wanting to get into other systems, other role-playing things. So I was curious to see how this was gonna go. We got to play it, which was very fun.
In the picture.
Yeah.
With
that's what we were
reserved
doing up
table.
there.
We were important.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happens when you're Tim O'Brien's best friend from high school.
That's it.
So
You're
we
welcome.
got to sit down and they walked us through the game. We got to play it. We got to check out the art on the cards. And it's cute too because all of the Griff Dog cards in what we got to see, and I think just in the game in general, all of the art is unique. So they're all like kind of different breeds of dogs, but all with the Griff Dog look to them, with the wings, the gray coloring, the bird legs. So they're all unique. They all kind of have their own personalities in the cards. And
Yeah.
then we went over and we visited the artist who was over there working on some little doodles, and we got to get this little like kind of gold foil holographic card as well for the game, and got to meet her. She's just like the way she works is really cool. The board that you see in the trailer and also like in this photo was done with traditional media. So folks who know me know I'm a traditional media girly. So I was oogling and ogling all of the little color changes and details, the layering and all of the different ink colors, and it's just really gorgeous work. So yes, the business card too. If you want to check out her work, she has a lot of cool stuff on Instagram. I just dropped a follow pretty recently. My card's different than yours is too. I have the one from.
When I do this, it doesn't focus, so it's all blurry. But
Yeah, I have her business card at least. But yeah, she's really nice. She's a really talented woman.
yeah,
So definitely check out both her work for the game and in general. And if you are also looking into more tabletop things, I think the fact that you can play it like Four Corner style against like I didn't realize you could do that. I think that's very fun as well. There's a lot of strategy involved with all the different gameplay mechanics, all the different factions as well.
Who won, Chara?
You did, by a long shot.
No, it was very close. I also
you
had
had-
Griff Dogs.
Yeah, you had Griff Dogs. I didn't. I just had a dragon.
What's that? Oh. Yeah, it was a good game. You're right. We made it a key point from the beginning, because this was the first meeting, that we're not condoning anything with AI art.
Yes.
And that was a point that we kept making throughout. And we wanted to make sure that the games we were looking at and the development teams and things like that were actually not doing that.
Yeah.
So
So everything you're seeing today is made by human hands. The fact that this art for this game was done by hand traditionally, I think some of the art for the cards she did like scan and process digitally because I know that's part of her process too. But the fact that there's a mix in there,
yeah,
like
that's really cool.
there's very like a direct human touch.
My little reflection in the reserve
Oh.
sign that I saw after. So afterwards, we went to Daylight Basement. We went to the basement with Daylight in it, and we played Rightfully Beary Arms, which at first glance was like, oh, this will just be like a cute little game about a little bear with guns.
It is very much not that. It's still very cute. It's got a lot of charm to it. All of the weapons in the game have a sex appeal rating, which is quite silly.
Yeah, and I was like, a pistol has a lower sex appeal rating than, what was it, a ray gun?
I think so, yeah.
And I was like, I think pistols are very sexy, actually.
Yeah.
But we got
They're
this little
like
peach
sweet-
bum card, so these are one of the enemies.
Yes.
Peach bums are one of the enemies, and they got a little crack right there,
Yeah.
as peaches do, you know,
And bums.
and bums. But yeah, it was a very cute game. It's very like roguelite shoot 'em up. Works for both PC and console. And it was very cute. There's also going to be costumes. At the end of our demo, we saw a bat and a little raincoat. And so like here on this little picture, we can see he's wearing like little zip up pajamas. We love a little customizable character.
Yes.
As queer people, we like to have control.
And we do love a fashion moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I asked him if the costumes would like maybe have an effect, and he said, oh, well, we'll think about it. So maybe.
It'd be nice to have like
Yeah.
a little bonus to looking cute.
Yeah. We're not prepared. We're not ready,
I
Kara.
know.
Hold
Okay,
on.
I have to get my... Okay, I get my hat.
Are you ready?
Yes, I will hold my hat on because it's not clipped to anything. I don't
Oh.
want it to fall off my head.
You disappeared for a moment. I don't know what happened. That was perhaps some strange clown magic.
Oh,
Okay. Now I have your hat in frame.
yay!
So it was PAX's 20th birthday,
Yeah.
which is exciting. They had these adorable totes. I'm blocking part
Yes.
of the screen here, but that's fine.
Yeah, they had. We went to the little PAX birthday party event. When we got there, the kind of the keynote, I guess, keynote speech of the weekend was a talk with Matt Pat from Game Theory. So we walked in at like the tail end of that, so we got to like see him on the screen and on the stage. He is indeed real, and he likes chairs.
In
It's his favorite
theory.
type of furniture. Yes.
In theory.
So I mean, we got the tail end of that conversation, and then we took our little seats.
We took our party
got to-
hats and we sat down.
Because the rules were you couldn't win anything if you didn't have a party hat on.
Which is a fair thing. Are y'all wearing your party hats? You can't win anything.
Yeah.
You can't win anything, period. Because we don't have anything to give
Yeah.
you. So,
But maybe if you had the hats, we would have found something. You know,
Yeah,
maybe like
give
a
a-
little confetti that we could have like thrown at you through the internet or something.
yeah, I have a bag of chocolate pretzels. I could throw that. But I feel like that's wasteful of a delicious snack. Who is that person over there? Oh,
Poot Laura.
Poot Laura. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, we
It's a
got
little scrunched.
a keychain because we were wearing a hat. So
Yeah.
we won this adorable keychain that has the logo, the special PAX 20 logo, which is adorable.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love it. 20 years at home. So PAX kind of emphasized the whole time of this like at home, PAX is home kind of thing.
Yes.
And I don't know if y'all saw on social media, I don't know if you follow PAX or anything like that, but it was incredibly like identity friendly,
Yes.
like the whole time. And that made me feel really good about what I was doing, what I have been doing with PAX for so long. And it was like on posters everywhere. It was on the big signs everywhere. It was on the Jumbotron. It was everywhere. And people would make like little trans art things in places. And PAX was posting that on their socials and being like, when you're at PAX, you're home. When you're here, you're family.
Yeah.
You know?
The Olive Garden of conventions.
Yeah,
Really.
really.
But yeah, it's just refreshing to see the con organizers and the enforcers, the volunteers that work throughout the convention, all being so like very over the top about like nothing in terms of harassment is tolerated.
Yeah.
Like, and every identity that's here is valid, is welcome. We're all just here to check out games and be nerds.
Yep.
So,
Cosplay
like,
and have a good time.
yeah, so like, let's just do that and get along, you know, basically. And that was very much the energy. Like, I felt very comfortable the whole time walking around. And I can honestly say that's not an experience I had at TwitchCon. So
I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah. Since you said it, I didn't see the same reflected at TwitchCon. Like,
Yes,
security staff was on point. Like, I know that usually security on the outside is usually like I'm not talking about enforcers. I mean like the security folks who like
the event, the censor staff.
Yeah, who like do the metal detectors and stuff. They they didn't question us. They were just like, go on in, you know. They might check your bag, but they don't harass you. They didn't annoy us. They weren't like, take that makeup off and go home. It was very good.
Yeah, it was very nice. Like, I felt very, very comfortable, very safe.
Yeah.
And like I felt like I was wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Like they wanted me to have a nice time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't just like a number, you know.
It's very different than like, you can be here versus we want you to be here.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And there were a lot of Muppet questions at the
Yes, they added a Muppet category. They had a trivia category competition where they were asking questions about like previous PAXs over the years. And of course, I don't know anything about them because I haven't gone to any.
Yeah.
And then they brought out of nowhere Muppet trivia as a category. And I sat there going, oh, please somebody do this, because that's like something I would probably know. And of course, they didn't know any of the Muppet trivia, and I was very upset about it.
Well, speaking of trivia, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Covering the every convention in history of PAX history, how many hours in total has there been of PAX?
And this is where my brain breaks.
Do you remember the answer to that question?
Oh, yeah, and then they're like, oh, let me get a calculator out. And it was like 5 minutes of them doing math.
And then they said, more than 5.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you're technically right, so sure.
Sure, yeah. They also had this book.
Yeah, that I thought was really cool.
Yeah. I don't know if any of this stuff is available online or anything like that, of course. But, I mean, I don't know if it'll also be PAX 20 at West. They had this book that was kind of like the accumulation of like some photos and things like that and memorable moments and, you know, little writings and archives of like 20 years of PAX, which is really cool. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah, so you could get like a nice coffee table book of just nerdy stuff and gaming history.
Yeah.
So like it's just cool. It's really cool stuff to see. Like, this little project started by like 2 or 3 people has blown up to become what it is today.
Exactly. And then we met the gays.
Yes. Going to the limited run booth, that first interaction, I was like, okay, we're not the only fruits here.
Yeah.
You know, like it.
Which is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was refreshing.
I need some limp-wristed individuals to kind of refresh me. And we indeed got that. They're very, very sweet.
They were very sweet. We went twice.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the second time later. So we have 2 games, and then we have a third game for one of the other days.
This kingdom will be mine.
I don't think so.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
We just gotta get the jewel back together and trap him in that old book, right?
The jewel shards are with the enemy. As you know, only a member of the royal family can rekindle the beacons.
Oh! Hey, look everyone! It's the princess!
You don't want to be caught without a bomb in a hard place.
My only tip is to help folks in need.
Bring me something starry, will ya?
Avalanche!
So if you didn't know, there's an old like Legend of Zelda game, or is it a show?
So the history of this.
Yeah, you know.
Yes. So Derek, it's not even the Legend of Zelda cartoon. This game is heavily inspired by, well, at least the premise we were told is, what if you took the Philips CDI Zelda games, but made them good? So it's a lot of the same team, the same voice actors from that game back when it was made in whatever year.
So it's faithful.
Yes, they came back to voice characters in this game. And I wish I had known about this. I found about it later, but they had a day where they had like the voice actors and the composer at like, they did like a little panel at the limited run booth.
Oh.
So I was like, well, that would have been cool, but like I didn't know that it was happening. But yeah, the composer for those games came back to do music for this one. So it was like, let's take the premise, the energy, the spirit, kind of the weird voice acting, the weird jokey scripts, the kind of clunky animation style. Let's do all of that, but make it like intentionally good and self-aware. So I'm very excited to get into it and check it out.
Yeah,
There's
me
also
too.
a frog in it at some point.
There's
I
a
did-
frog?
I did see. Yes.
Every
His name
game's
is
got a frog.
Fritch. His name is Fritch.
Fritch.
And he's like a little fancy man. He's like a
Oh.
little fancy frog with like a little tuxedo.
I love that. I love that I showed this to my husband and he was like, why is it so bad? And I was like, it's intentional. Get with the program, girl.
Yeah.
This other game is called Renaine. Chara immediately fell in love with the soundtrack.
Oh, I did. Oh, it got me together
Yeah.
so fast.
You can find the soundtrack, the SoundCloud tracks near the bottom of the website.
And they have 2 tracks from the game. One is like a jazzy kind of theme for forest area, and the other one is like a hip hop track. So this soundtrack contains multitudes, and I think it's very, very slay of them to do that.
I'm moving my hat so we can see the...
Oh, yes.
Yes. Oh.
It's the noise I make when I take my lashes off. Today.
Go get it. Victory's where I'm headed. When I fail, I'm like, forget it. I ain't really wanted, why sweat it? Get it, yeah, I said it. Nah, let me stop lying, I'm desperate. Charge my memory bank or debit. Any way you like, just give me my credit. Bet it, I ain't here for a second or to debate my motives or methods. Shut up and point me in the direction of the path to the top and watch me trek it. Extended, cut no edits. Lord, please guide my weapon. Dragon Slayer genetics. Get the word out, go get it. Get it. One day I'll be acting one way. Then again, on some days I'm righteous and Sundays.
But I love the color palette
Yes.
so much. The really dark backgrounds with the really bright foregrounds it's so visually striking. So I'm excited to like dive into this too.
Yeah.
And it gives a little Shovel Knight.
I
little
love,
bit.
yeah, like a little bit of Shovel Knight, but like meets like a little bit of like Undertale. Like there's these like creatures or characters that have personalities.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so interesting. And then they've got Chompy, which is kind of like your Yoshi, but
Yes.
there's different kinds of Chompies, and they're so cute. And I'm really excited to see what this game has in store. I'm really excited to try it myself. So then we went to Phoenixx Games, which is a Japanese publisher, I believe, or is
Yes.
it a development team? But I think it's very cool because I haven't seen a lot of Japanese indie games
Yeah.
until recent years, which I find very exciting. I think that's so cool that we're getting a lot more indie devs from all over as opposed to just America or Europe.
Like it's more exciting because it's like I feel like indies really allow individual creators to tell like very, very specific stories. And when you're working with like a typical AAA studio, like you're more at the whims of the executives than you are, telling the stories that you want to tell. So I think there is like that kind of inherent, I guess, a little punk in a way energy of like doing it yourself and going around, the powers that be to do what you want.
Bring it around town.
Yeah. And sometimes they just want to make things that are cute and silly.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's nothing wrong with that too.
Yeah.
There's a market for everything out there.
Some of the games we saw from, I believe it was still Phoenixx technically, were a little like raw.
Yeah.
Which we'll go over, I think, on day 2.
Yes.
But like it seemed kind of raw and just real, and like it's really refreshing sometimes to see just this is the game, rather than like let's take these characters and let's make sure that they're perfectly, this or whatever. Like it's just, I don't know, more like a cartoony fun art style or something like that. But
it's a little looser.
Yeah. And something I've never seen before is Magic Chaos. I've never seen a game quite like this.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting that it could be played one player or multiplayer. It's just a fun party game, but it's online PvP. It's basically a multiplayer bullet hell.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen. I think that's so cool because like, I don't know about you, but I like a bullet hell.
I haven't really played very many of them.
Really?
Yeah.
It's weird because you got an S.
I know.
On your score, and I got only an A. But you got to watch me play, so,
Yeah, that's true. I did watch you. I got a little insider preview. But honestly, I think Hades kind of trained me for bullet hell a little bit. Because some of those bosses on those higher intensities get to be a lot.
Yeah. But in this one, all the different characters kind of have a different ability, like a blink. They might have different bullet hell styles that you can kind of take control over. And you kind of have to murder each other. But you're all magical girls, which is fun.
Yeah.
Just cute and quick.
Yeah.
Also, I meant to say this earlier, but if you're watching this not on full screen or on mobile, I'm so sorry. Y'all gotta watch this on full screen. So this other game, Doronko Wanko, is just something I saw while I was getting the Magic Chaos video, and I was like, I want to talk about it. Do you want to watch it first, or?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just play it. So that's Doronko Wanko. And you're this tiny Pomeranian that is basically doing the opposite of Power Wash Simulator, which, just because it's the opposite of Power Wash Simulator, I adore it.
Yeah.
Because Power Wash Simulator, like, as good as I love Power Wash Simulator and, like, cleaning something up, making something messy is way easier. No stress.
Yes.
None whatsoever.
It's just, you get to be a cute little dog being goofy.
Yeah. And that's what I love. That's an unbridled chaos, and that's something we love.
Yeah. It kind of gives me, like, Chibi Robo energy a little
Yes.
bit. Just like the scale, which I think is why you also really like it.
It's so cute.
It's got a lot of charm to it.
Next, we visited Midwest Games. We were greeted by this cute arcade cabinet that was playing RaRaBoom, which is the first interview game for this publisher, which was fun.
Yes, it reminds me a little bit kind of like Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, that kind of like side-scrolling beat 'em up.
Golden Axe.
yeah, the little old school multiplayer kind of vibe to it. But you're all these like combat ready cheerleaders, and you just go out and beat up robots. It was very fun. I enjoyed playing it a lot. But yeah, so you have this kind of fun lane system that I really like the way they've treated it for gameplay, because it makes it very easy to tell where you're going, what's going on, where things are coming from. And I think it's also like quite a fun accessibility feature because it kind of plays off of dealing with like depth perception.
Yeah.
For
Which I
things like
struggle
this.
with.
So it's like, so knowing clearly like, oh, well, this enemy is in this green line, so as long as I stay in that green line, I can still hit them.
Yeah.
You know, it makes things a little easier to get into.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in these beat 'em ups, it's like if you're outside of the hitbox, you just miss, which gets frustrating.
And I mean, like, we can pretty easily see like the lanes, even though
Yeah.
it's like they're both green. I think even if
Yes.
you were colorblind, you might still be able to see the distinction, which is nice and helpful.
There's enough contrast there, even
Yeah.
in terms of like texture
Yeah.
that's in the lane.
And this game does have a story. It does have a plot, which is nice
Yes.
too. You can play up to 4 players with these 4 unique, diverse characters, which is nice to see.
Yes.
And then they have like a rainbow power.
Oh yeah, they all
Yeah.
have like they're special, all those different things. Like the character I was playing as, who's kind of like the ninja girl of the group. Hers, it basically makes like this giant rainbow spike that goes up and down like across the screen, which is very fun.
I was like the jock cheerleader, which is like an interesting combination.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't necessarily like high femme cheerleader. It was kind of like more jockey. And I don't remember what mine was, but you can beat people up and shoot guns and run around, and there's a robot girl. I don't know what the other girl is. She got a shield. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's her thing, is that she's more like defensive. And Ryan, from Midwest Games, was saying that their personalities all kind of match up with their playstyles and their character as well, and you like get into that a little bit more as the game goes on, which is quite fun. Like my character, who, you know, when you look at the 4 of them, you think, oh, she's the serious one because she's the ninja or whatever, and she's like the goofy comic relief girl who's like constantly eating snacks.
Yeah.
So,
which is you.
like it. Yeah. And then after we finished checking out RaRaBoom, then we got to play Lullaby of Life. Very much reminds me of Spore.
Yeah.
Like early games in Spore.
Yeah, the visuals for sure.
Which I think is very cute. Very fun.
And it has this sort of like rhythm to it.
Yeah.
So your character creates these tones or these notes, and you accumulate different notes over time. So it has, I guess, maybe Metroidvania in that way.
Yeah.
But they're not like powers. They're more just like notes. And you collect, what are they called? The little friends.
But they're very cute.
They're very cute. You get little friends who also have like specific notes that they can carry. And there are certain puzzles that you have to create a song basically through these notes. And some of the notes have like prerequisites. So it gets very interestingly complicated, but also very fun. And sometimes there's like physical barriers in how like, because like it's sound, right? So it can't go necessarily through a wall. And to watch was really interesting. The whole time I was like, are we like a cell? Because seeing the information and like the visuals of the games or the game, some levels kind of look like cell walls, or like this looks like a plant, or this looks like, you know, whatever. And we didn't necessarily know for sure what the overarching plot of this game is. It kind of gave me like a little bit of like a cartoony Cocoon, but you can find out for yourself. It's very interesting. It looks very science-y, but like mixed with like whimsy and music and life.
I think what I like about it too, I mean, I didn't hear the music, so I didn't have headphones and we played it. So that's one thing I'm excited to like actually go back and get to experience the full thing, because I liked the gameplay. They also did give us fidget spinners, which is very fun. But yeah, they're very fun. was excited to go visit them. Just being like somebody who's based in the Midwest myself, there's not really a lot of, I would say necessarily like there's not really a lot of opportunities within the gaming industry here. I went to a school that is very like renowned for its game design program, but you basically have to go somewhere out west or out east if you want to make a career in the gaming industry. So just knowing that there's this publisher, I think they're based in Ohio, that has all these different games that all come from studios out of my section of the US is really cool to me.
We went to go see Vaders with Joystick Ventures, and
Yes.
it's this really cute. I immediately said, or like I mentioned, Cobalt Core, which
Yeah.
if you've been following me, you might know about. But Cobalt Core is by Brace Yourself Games. But this one is Joystick Ventures, and it kind of goes. You're I guess these different engineers maybe, or robots or whatever, and you're kind of doing like a little bit of a Space Invaders where you have like a grid and these robots are coming down once every turn, and you have like a heat gauge where you can only do so much with the cards you have in your hand, and you have to eliminate them before they reach your robot. I don't know, personally I love, and there's like a Metroidvania aspect as well too. You know, I usually am very averse to anything that says with cards, and I'm like, enough with the cards.
Yeah, that's how I am too. It's usually a really big turnoff for me.
But you know, if you think about it, sometimes the cards they don't have to be cards. They could be orbs for God knows. You know, it doesn't really matter. The important thing is the strategy, the abilities that your character has, things like that, and how they all link up together. And you can make your cards do different things, so every run is different. Right now, I believe there's a demo for Vaders, and you can play as 3 different mechanics or different mechs.
I know it was not a game that I was like, oh, this is not something I would click with, but it's fun. Like, it was fun to watch. It's very cute, very fun art style, and I do like the way that they implement the heat gauge into your cards as well. Because if you overheat, then you can like do more, but then you burn your cards, and then you minimize your options on your next turn.
But if you need it, it's there.
It's there.
You could burn all your cards for if you want. Then we went to Memories Reach, which I got a little flyer for. And I think you might know a little more about this than me.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played the entirety of Metroid Prime, but this game does very much feel like the exploration aspects of that game, especially the parts where you're like scanning nature around you and wildlife and, you know, dead animals, or trying to figure out like what all is happening around you using like environmental storytelling. Scanning stuff, getting visual information that way, I think is a really cool, like really quiet way to do world building. And this is a game that doesn't really have like voice acting or a directed narrative or anything like that. It's just you're on a planet, you're trying to piece together what's going on because you don't really know. And there's like elements with radioactive areas that you can't get into, so you have to solve puzzles to get the right equipment so that way you can access those. So the Metroid elements come in a little bit more there with the Metroidvania aspect. It specifically is like a Metroidvania puzzle game, so there's not really combat. It's just walking around, flipping switches, jumping on platforms.
We can see one of the puzzles above your head.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's one of the puzzles. You kind of have to do these like flipping things around and turning them and making sure they're all in the right spot, and it's meticulous, but I found it really fun because I love doing that kind of thing. I love making it look right. They're also, I believe, Australian?
Yes.
So we got Tim Tams, and I'd never had a Tim Tam because I've never been to Australia. So we're gonna try a Tim Tam. If you haven't tried a Tim Tam, well, we're gonna try it together. I don't know what Tim. I'll admit there were 4 of them in the bag, and I already ate the other 3, but they were good. What if they were bad?
Yeah.
So it's like a little chocolate covered little wafers. And they're just like chocolate wafer with chocolate inside. It's just good.
Gotta get the snacks in. I think it's a really effective way to, as like a developer, to, especially like if you're in a foreign country, essentially, like a way to connect with the media or connect with consumers and like make yourself memorable. Give them snacks.
Yeah,
Like,
we're hungry. When we go back to I ate all of them at the hotel, and I was like, I gotta save one for the review. And I kept looking at it, and I was like, I'm gonna eat you. But I didn't, and now I did, and it was very delicious. That was a really good Tim Tam.
just a really cool art style too, I think, for the game. Just like the environment design was really pretty. I'm playing the trailer now because I hadn't done it yet.
Let me do that. The music's good.
Yeah. It was fun watching you play it because I can tell you're looking for the puzzles, looking for where to go, and I'm over there like, oh, the rocks,
Yeah.
oh, the plants. Like,
I stopped to look at everything because it's very like visual.
yeah. And I believe the pre-alpha demo is what you got to play.
Yeah, it's
So-
it keeps it short. Like you get enough of
Yeah.
a puzzle, you get enough storytelling.
So if you want to check it out for yourself, you'll get to play the exact same thing that Chalora did, and the exact same thing that I got to watch.
Yeah, because I always visit Hyde's Haunt and Seek when I go to PAX. It's been many a year, and I've never not visited them. So here we are again.
Yeah, I'm too.
Yeah, developed by Smol Games and now published by Daedelic Entertainment, which is very exciting. Hyde's Haunt and Seek, if y'all remember, but I always bring a friend because it's a very quick demo. It's a very quick little thing to do when you have 10 minutes or so at PAX. It's just a quick little let me hop in and hop out kind of multiplayer game where it's 1 versus 3. And it's very cute as opposed to like horrifying or scary or whatever. So you're either first person as the human hunter or bird's eye view, 3-player as the ghosts who haunt them. And the human is pretty overpowered, which is good. That's important. It's very reverse Dead by Daylight, but more fun, honestly,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I wouldn't have wanted to play just something that was like super Dead by Daylight-y. But this was fun. And I think it was because it didn't feel like Dead by Daylight, at least the ghost side of it.
Yeah.
It felt more like Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, exactly.
It like felt just very kooky, very
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah. So the ghosts have to hide an object. I think all 3 of them have an object.
Yes.
And the human has to find them to basically vanquish them. And the ghosts have to scare the human enough. So you get like fear points by scaring them. So there's like an incentive to actually scare them, not just sit and cherry pick on your item. And if you scare the human enough, you get enough points to enter kind of this combat scenario where the ghosts can actually fight back, because the human can just eliminate you by killing you, which is great.
It's happened to me.
Yeah.
I got killed.
You can come back I don't know how many lives you get, I don't remember, but you basically have to arrange furniture Because the player can move the furniture, but so can the ghosts. And a lot of times, it's very fun to troll the human. And like when they're looking at something, it's funny because you'll like surround the behind them with furniture, and they'll turn around and be like, "What the hell? Where'd all this furniture come from?" And they have to kind of like push it all out of the way. It's very funny, and it's just like a silly, good time. And a lot of the furniture now has sort of this like specific scare interactions. Like you can fill the bathtub with blood, you can put rats all over the dinner table, stuff like that. So there's more interaction than just moving furniture now, which is really nice. I don't remember if it's a single dev or if it's a group of devs, but the devs at Smol Games are always really kind to me. Whenever I visit, they always remember me, and that's really nice.
And I had never obviously met them. I never heard of the game until you mentioned it. And when you said that it was like, it sounds like Dead by Daylight, but it plays very differently, I was like, okay, I would be fine to play this then.
Here's the last one of the day.
Ooh.
So this one we'll just let run in the background because they couldn't find a specific video for what we're going to talk about. But this covers most of it anyway while we talk about it. So we went to go see Novelline. They create books, art, fashion, and now a little bit of video games.
Yeah.
So they really the only thing in terms of video games that they have is sort of like a little puzzle game on a tablet or a phone for like, kids, or really anyone could play it because there's many different difficulties of I think they set up to 1,000 pieces.
It's pretty high up there number-wise.
Yeah, it was either 100 or 1,000. Yeah, little jigsaw puzzles of art from the books and things like that. And right now they have a series of 3 books for this specific character that go through 3 different seasons.
Yeah, they're very cute. The mother of the family wrote all of the books, and then I think one of the brothers illustrated the first one.
She does it, and then he helps as well.
And then they worked with an illustrator for the second and third.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
But then the other brothers handle like the marketing, and making the game and all of that,
developing and
yeah.
There's how many brothers? There's
I think 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah.
And so she was like, she had all boys, and so she's like, well, let me make this like very cutesy kind of girly book series, but it's done in a way that it doesn't matter like what gender your child is, they can still enjoy it because it's more about like imagination and creativity and that like fun childlike whimsy that is so often encouraged when you're really young, but then you lose as you get older. So very fun energy at their booth, just in terms of the merch and stuff that they had too. You can get little plushies of the raindrops that you've seen in the trailer and in the background there. But yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, I like the art too. Like all the like little accent colors and stuff. And I am very partial to like children's literature. I still have all my Robert Munch books, for example, and they're really important to me. So
yeah.
I haven't read the book.
Yeah,
but
it's like sometimes those books
I like the art.
Yeah, it's like those books that you get as a kid, like for some people, like that's what makes you want to read. Like that's what makes you want to create stories or write or whatever. And so it's like finding good children's literature is so important, especially like with early childhood development things too. Like reading to your kids is really important. That's why drag queen story hours are a cultural good, despite what many people think, because more than anything, above whether they're trying to teach acceptance, diversity, whatever, more than anything, they just want kids to read.
Yeah.
Like get them excited about reading, get them in the libraries, checking out books, promoting literacy. And like that's not a bad thing by any means.
Absolutely.
If you think it is, you've got something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we thought this was a fun little thing to go check out. So, maybe any drag folks out there looking for books for a story hour or story time, whatever. Got 3 in this series. There's probably going to be a 4th one coming.
Yeah, 3 seasons, maybe a 4th season.
Yeah.
And then little puzzles.
Yes. I mean, even if you're just a parent or have just small kids in your family in general, have relatives that have young children, like, here you go. Prime option. Get them into a new little series.
Something else
the
to
little
do.
ladybug in the boat.
Yeah,
That's
little
cute.
ladybug in the boat in the puddle.
Okay, well, if anyone has questions, we did get asked one on my end.
Oh, you got a question?
Yes.
You were PAXed a question?
Yes, I was PAXed a question during Hyde's hide and seek. What if you're bad at hide and seek?
Well, you don't have to hide.
You can just be out in the open.
Yeah, you can just be a ghost, levitating shit, moving shit around. Or you can be the hunter. The hunter doesn't have to hide.
And then we were also asked, what was our favorite game from day one? Yeah, I think I know what mine is.
Well, go ahead.
I think for me, my favorite one we saw on that first day was probably RaRaBoom. Just because I loved the music. Because we could hear it a little bit through the speaker, but I like the gameplay, I like the character design. I had a lot of fun with it. So it's a game that I definitely could see myself playing for quite a while.
Yeah, I think for me it was Renaine.
Yeah.
I like the music a lot, and I like the gameplay and the characters. I'm a character girl. Like,
yeah.
If you got a silly, goofy, funny character, I'm a silly, goofy, funny character. So I will like your silly, goofy, funny character.
And our Chara.
Yeah.
Our Chara era.
So here we are on our Chara.
I think day 2 was like the big day for us.
That was the big
realistically.
Day.
So it had the most things going on.
Yeah.
So we were zooming.
So here we are for day 2 in the middle. The picture's in the middle, that's us.
Exactly. That's exactly what I looked like up there.
Yeah. I don't know who this is.
Color and everything.
Yeah, it was perfect. But no, we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I am a little annoyed because I stoned that whole fucking outfit. That skirt is covered in stones. That blazer is covered in stones. And it doesn't shine at all. So our first place we went was the Tokyo Indie Games Summit booth, which was the same booth as Phoenixx Games. This was their first ever year of doing the Tokyo Indie Games Summit, which was March 2nd to 3rd. And they're going to do it again next year, I believe. I don't know if it was a success. It seemed like it was a success. They had a big promotional thing for it. It looks cool. I think it's really cool that they're going to do that in Tokyo.
They had a lot of games on display too.
Yeah, they had a lot of show.
Like 7 or 8.
We got to try out Apopia. We got a little sticker.
Yeah.
And it gave us like Alice in Wonderland vibes with like a cartoony kind of spin.
Cat with a hand for a tail.
Yeah. Who talks and disappears. Comes back. We got Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
I mean, it kind of goes into it being a sugar-coated tale, but it was very like charming, very loose art style that I really liked. It had a lot of movement and kind of bounce to it. It didn't feel super restrictive.
Yeah, but it has a darker side that we'll just have to see in the trailer. So you can play the prologue for yourself on Steam.
Yeah, it's very cute. Very, very fun.
Adorable. I will say that there's a part of the game where I got to pretend to be an egg. And that was nice.
Yeah.
It's more effective than you think. I was kind of like, yes, I like this kind of like cutesy adventure with like silly little scenarios. And then the dark shit happened. And I was like, oh my fucking, what is going on?
Yeah.
Because
It
it's,
takes such a turn. It's out of nowhere.
yeah. And it's just like, okay, so there's like a much deeper thing going on here, which makes it just incredibly interesting. So I'm really excited to see where this game goes when it's done. Speaking of
Yeah, speaking of games with dark stories,
yeah,
the next place we went was over at Galaktus, who published Hollow Home. So Hollow Home is by Twigames, which is a Ukrainian studio, and this game, it's a kind of point-and-click adventure style game where you are playing the life of this like teenage boy in Ukraine in the days leading up to the Russian invasion. The art style is really cool. I mean, it's really colorful, which I like, but it's very full of life and vibrant, but also there's like a somberness to the whole thing. And like you'll walk around talking to people in the town, and they'll mention, you know, like, oh, is this gonna happen? Is Russia gonna invade? Like, what are we gonna do if that happens? And so it's like you're getting to experience the life of just the everyday people.
Yeah.
In a wartime conflict. And I think that's a perspective that we don't really see in gaming. Really often in a lot of media, when we talk about stories of war, we hear about the soldiers and the people fighting, but we don't necessarily hear about just like, you know,
kids.
Yeah, like the kids that are just like existing that become, you know, collateral a lot of the time in things like this. So I got to check this out. I got really into it, and this is a game I definitely really want to like take a proper dive in, especially because it's a story from the perspective of the people who are experiencing this all in real time. So like just stuff like that gets me together with games, and I feel like it's gonna make me cry. I love games that make me cry, and I feel like it's also gonna be like great educational tool as well in a lot of ways.
It's important, it's real. The gameplay style, for those who are curious, is you kind of live several days. I think there's like 25 days total or something like that.
It's kind of Persona-y where you're on a schedule.
Yeah, and you have a certain amount of energy points, so you can do a certain amount of things, and you're told how many points those will cost. Or it's tough because you kind of have to make these morally difficult decisions, but your character is like, what are they, like 12?
Yeah, they're pretty young.
They're pretty young. Some like you'll walk around town, and then maybe the next day there's a building missing. Somebody that you knew is missing, or they're dead, and it's just reality. Like, that's a reality for them, and it does have multiple playthrough options in that way. Like, you know, whatever happens your first playthrough, you can play through again and experience differently. Obviously, it's a difficult thing to talk about, and it might be a difficult game to play, but it's definitely something important to, or educational to experience.
I think as somebody who, with us being here in the States, like there's a lot of inherent privilege in getting to experience a story like this in this format, where it's like, for us, it's a game and it's an interactive story that we can choose to opt in or opt out of. But for them, they're in it. This is just the reality. So I think more people should play games like this, experience stories like this, because I think it makes us more well-rounded individuals. I think it makes us more sympathetic to the world around us, more understanding of victims in times of crisis. So definitely, I think this was the heaviest of
Yeah.
all the things we saw
Yeah.
by a long shot. But it's the type of game that I love. I mean, for anybody who I didn't play it on stream, I'm particularly excited to play this, even though I know it's going to destroy me. But I'm ready for it. And now for something completely
different. This is Urban Myth Dissolution Center. We went to go see Ukiyo Studios as well as Shueisha Games. They gave us this little magazine. There's a buttload of games. There are so many, and they all look really, really cool. Oh,
The
there's
way
like
their
a
studio
little
is
poster
set
of
is
like
really-
all their different games
Yeah.
going on here. Like, there are so many different things, so many different art styles to see and to do and to play.
And like the way that their studio is structured is really cool, I think, because like the way they had their booth set up too. So Shueisha is like the large company that has all these games, has all these studios under it. But then there's Ukiyo Studios, which is more like kind of more Japanese style games. Then they have a couple other ones that are like more European in terms of more Western style games, Western art style, stuff like that. But they're all very like kind of like it's like all around the world, all under this one company. And they've got some really cool stuff in there. One of the games that Chara just showed off, Project Survival with the dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, I'm so
it's like-
excited.
yeah, it's a better PAL world.
Literally. And better art.
The creature design in that game, the person we met with from there said that they're all inspired by like Southeast Asian creatures and mythos and stuff like that. So that design sensibility is very carried through the character design. So I'm very excited for when that comes out.
Yeah, and like there's this game called Opus that's like I don't know what it's about, but it's
Oh,
it's photography.
It looks cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for this one, and it's one that really has me intrigued.
Yeah, I'm interested as well. But they had just the varying styles of games is incredible.
There's something for everybody
Yeah.
in this one studio.
We were instantly blown away by the art direction for this particular game, pixel art, but the visuals are so interesting despite them being like monochromatic. But then there are certain things that just pop because everything is blue or everything is whatever color it is, and then there's like the red, like we can see here. Just the depth of field and like how everything was created is just so well done.
Yeah, when we were talking with Tom from Ukiyo, he was saying specifically that the game kind of has a bit of a Paranormal Site energy. And the second he said that, I was like, oh, we're going to love it here with the Caravan, because I know we had a blast playing that game. And this definitely has that kind of energy mixed with like Persona 1, Persona 2, like that early like dealing with rumors getting brought into real life and manifested. This game also has the element of like scrolling through social media posts and searching for, on forums and trying to find whatever to make spirits come out and get leads on the urban myths that you are trying to dissolute.
And we even mentioned World of Horror, and they didn't understand me at first. And I was like, well, it's like that game. It's fine. And then somebody else behind me while we were playing was like, yeah, it's kind of like World of Horror. And they were like, oh, that's what you meant. And I was like, yeah. It's so short. We need more.
I know, but I cannot wait
Yeah.
to play it when it's fully out, because what we got to play, we didn't get to finish their demo because it was quite long, the section they had on display. Oh my gosh, I was very engrossed in everything with it.
Yeah.
So I can't
we
wait.
were glued, as
And it was like we were like in the middle of finding out what was going on, and then they're like, "Okay, we have to leave because we have another appointment."
Yeah, we have
And
to go.
I wanted to find out, so I guess we'll just have to find out on stream.
Here we are. I always love visiting this booth. and this publisher, because I also really love their little PR kit, because it's just like a little demo kit that's like a little game box, and they even have like stuff on the back with like inquiries and stuff, and you open it and there's like a little USB inside, and then there's a booklet. It's just so stinking smart.
Yeah, and their business cards are so good.
And you get the company profile in here, and like it just has like every game side like you would for like a normal little booklet.
Yeah, so the business cards are like staff trading cards. So it's like you get like their information stuff, but they have like a little consistent art style. It's like a little character portrait of them, or, you know, a little fantasy involved. But it's very cute, and it's just like really great impression overall. I was particularly excited because they're the studio that did A Space for the Unbound, which was nominated for Games for Impact during the Game Awards this last year. I really wanted to play it before I went, and I did not have time to. So I was like, I'm going to put all these questions about the game and ask about the experience of it. And then we got there and it was like, oh, I don't have anything. But the director was very nice guy. And you can tell like he just really loves what he makes. And when they gave us our little media kits, we also got Indonesian coffee as well, because they're
we did.
I know.
Is that what I'm drinking right now? Whoa, how did that happen?
Oh, how did that get all the way in your cup?
Yeah, I never even left. What do you mean?
But yeah,
it's divine, by the way.
Work.
It's
this, which I think is very cute marketing as well, because they're the studio that did Coffee Talk, and they have the sequel coming out pretty soon if it's not out already.
You just got me on that one. I didn't even clock it. But they did talk about how like they really want to, at least for A Space for the Unbound, I don't know about all the other games, but they wanted to emphasize where they're from.
Yeah.
And what it's like right now. They kind of wanted to like immortalize it, right?
Yeah, well, because A Space for the Unbound, I think, is set kind of in I think it's set in the 90s. And so for a lot of them, like, it's when we were growing up, or like our more pivotal memories of, you know, childhood home is during this time. And so I think that's a really cool through line of their studio, is that everything is very like, we want this to be very culturally authentic to us in a lot of ways, you know, and coffee is a big part of Indonesian culture and Indonesian trade, which I didn't know, but having that like brought into their games and then be like, let's bring a little flavor of us to go home with you in addition to these games, I think is really sweet.
What souvenirs didn't I put in my body? It goes perfect with my Tim Tam.
Yeah, it's like Epcot, honestly. PAX. like why go to Disney and go through all of that when you can just get flavors and treats from all around the world at PAX?
I like this a lot. I'm just sitting here like, okay, I'm gonna take another one. You know.
I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer for Space for the Unbound. I really wanted to play it on stream, but I haven't played it yet.
Well,
so maybe we'll actually finally have to do that.
Yeah.
I've already been warned by the director too that when I play it, to have tissues on hand, because the game deals with an apocalyptic scenario that is happening and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So you're dealing with impending mortality the whole time.
Existentialism.
And what do you do with the time you have left and the people that are around you, kind of thing. So I'm excited for it again because I like to cry when I play my games. So
me too.
I think this will be a way to process some things. I always love games that are nominated for Games for Impact. I try to play all the nominees every year. This year I wasn't able to, but I have all of them.
Still time.
So yeah, there's still time to get them in before the next year's nominees come out.
More streams to come. I love the art.
Yeah.
Like the clouds that have the little kind of greenish hue and pink. It just what a combination of colors.
Yeah, it's really beautifully done.
Yeah, and the shadows from the trees are just, it's so, I don't know, nostalgic or real, well developed and 3-dimensional for something that's flat.
Yeah.
Like pixel art. So I'm always astounded by people who do pixel art and then they make it look somehow they make it just go. And it's how did you do that?
Yes,
You're using these strange colors, and how did you? I don't know what it is. It's color theory. I don't know.
Like how you said that sense of nostalgia, because it reminds me of Your Name.
Mine
kind of vibe wise. The movie. In specific, the scenario and the setting and all of that. They wanted it to really feel like their hometown, like you were getting a sense of what daily life was like there for them. So I can only imagine the added perspective of what the scenario of the game factored into that also means, So I can't wait to dive into it.
Well, speaking of existentialism,
yes,
TestTestTest is a free. Sorry,
yes.
Can you repeat that for me?
Free
game. On Steam. Free to play on Steam right now, which you can go play for fun. It is a loop game. Loop games are in right now. It also seems to have some elements of silly, goofy, funny. It's called TestTestTest. What could it all mean? Oh, existential dread mixed with capitalism? What could go wrong? I love games that don't take themselves too seriously. I think this trailer is very representative of that. But it's very fun. There are some visual cues that I find very helpful that kind of guide you through the game, that draw your attention immediately. I like games that kind of help you visually. Because there are some games out there where there's a hidden item, you've got to go find it, and there's nothing to guide you. There's no information. It's not a different color. It's a pixel on a square, and it's you got to go find it. It's I don't. Yeah. So I really appreciate when they kind of give you a visual cue. It's just very thought-provoking.
Yes. What I also really like about this game too is that every loop is 15 real minutes. And so
yes, there's a real timer.
Yeah, so you can speed it up to advance things, but you have to be careful not to speed it up too far.
And get a notebook.
Yes.
You're gonna need a notebook. Next we have Deathbound by Tate Multimedia. I have streamed this game before, where we have some very silly, goofy, funny clips because it was, I believe, in beta or early access. But this game is sort of like a party-like, Souls-like game. So if you like Souls-like games, this might be the game for you. Especially if you're very indecisive or you like to play multiple styles. You can play all the styles at once. So you basically get up to 4 characters in your party at one time because your body is like a vessel. And you can carry the souls or the entities of 4 different warriors at a time. So you can have like the sorceress, the rogue, the warrior, or the paladin, and a spear fighter, or the new capoeira character, Brazilian fighting character. And they all have different move sets, and you can combine them and mix them together. You can pull them out at different times. There's all different kinds of things creatively that you can do with your characters, and it's very interesting. There's a demo. I think at the end there we see the capoeira character because they were like flinging their limbs around. It's really cool. Yeah. I know there's going to be more characters than the ones I said. I'm kind of excited for this one. It looks really cool to me. It's an interesting concept. The world is kind of interesting. I didn't get to see a lot of it, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I think mechanically it's different. It's like I've never thought about putting the party swapping aspect into a game that's with this combat formula, because like I've played it with like kind of like Dynasty Warrior style games where you have like 3 or 4 characters you can just switch between on the fly, but never where it's like something like this with this kind of like really kind of rhythmic combat that you have going on. And it's also like quite complex because every character has a different way about how they move and how their attack speed and stuff. So if you're like in a heavy, intense combat scenario, one of your characters is low on health, then you can just switch to someone else to be healed up. But then you have to kind of like readjust your fighting style in the moment. So it's difficult. It's a hard dance to...
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool features in the game, kind of like what you were saying. And like when you unlock characters, you kind of get a story about them. Mm-hmm. That you can kind of go through to maybe get a little bit of backstory behind them. Because they're kind of like spirits, right? And you kind of like absorb them into your entity. Like you were saying, like there's 4 and you can kind of switch between them. But like if you take a lot of health with one or take a lot of health damage with one, you can switch to another, and the damage you deal as the other characters heals the ones that are off, which is kind of cool. Like, and there's a lot of like compatibility. Like the sorceress has an ability where she can imbue your attacks with fire. Well, she doesn't attack with anything but magic, so she can do this, fire imbuement, and then you switch to the paladin or whoever, and now your attacks do fire damage too. You have a lot of options. Oh, did I say that maybe we would see Lucy Liu? Last time I streamed, I said, and we might see Lucy Liu, and everyone went, Lucy Liu? And I said, yeah, Lucy Liu. We might see Lucy. We did. There she is. She's right over there. Very exciting. I'm so excited for this one. Is there anything? I'll let you go.
Okay. So we did have at one point a scheduled meeting with Eloise Singer from Singer Studios, and then unfortunately she wasn't able to take any appointments during the time she was there. So, scheduling conflicts, they happen. We still wanted to talk about this game because it was one that we were both really, really excited about. We talked about this game. You should be familiar with this on the channel because they showed it. I can't remember if it was during the Game Awards or Summer Game Fest. Some press thing that we watched, they debuted this. And we all thought here in the caravan that it was a cool idea, even though it's a VR game and I don't do VR stuff at this point. But we thought this was an important game to talk about because it's a predominantly women and femme-run studio telling a game about a woman pirate who was like infamous for how cutthroat she was. And Lucy Liu plays her in the game. So
she's also the executive producer, along with Eloise Singer.
I think it's just a really cool narrative. I've heard good things about it. It's out now, so if you have VR headsets, check it out for sure.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
We're ready.
The Pirate Queen is a true story based on a woman who started as a courtesan in the mid-Qing dynasty, so it's the 1800s, the early 1800s, 1807, right, about that time, who married a pirate, and then after his unfortunate demise, she took over and became the leader of this pirate fleet and was the brains behind standing up for women's rights.
She went on to command a fleet of about 70,000 people during the lead up to the Opium Wars and became the most powerful pirate of all time. But there's this misconception that everyone thinks that Blackbeard was the most powerful pirate, but it's not.
And it's a woman.
And it's a woman.
Surprise.
Yeah.
It's a woman.
At that time, it was very common for women in China to have their feet bound. And it was thought of something as that was beautiful and cultured. So here's this woman who doesn't have her feet bound, and she rises to this leadership.
And it's the most extraordinary story of an underdog, if you think about it, because she literally came from poverty, from a life of working as a flower boat girl, to becoming the most powerful pirate of all time.
The fact that it's a true story, and it's been created in this virtual world of technology, is quite significant. It's bringing the old and the new together, and also presenting something that's not just a game, but something that's real and exciting and historic.
That was beautiful.
Let's see how well you fare as the Pirate Queen.
Well, I was very off about that.
Yeah. Totally wrong side of the coin. True story, y'all. And that's kind of like what made me even more excited about this. Like, I just love women's history. And like, I don't know, we've been talking, I've been talking about like women pirates and things like that for a while, and how like there was a big pirate scene for women back in the day that just kind of got washed under the rug, and they made it all about men, and it really wasn't. Women were doing the most the whole time.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
When are we not?
Yeah, here we are, two women doing the most.
Obviously, as I see, you're looking like a loofah.
Yeah. Speaking of loofahs, I can't wait to see Drag Trashly play this game. The only person I know that streams VR. I would like to see it. I would like to watch it.
I would too.
And I'll have to do my research on this, because I just think it's such an interesting and incredible story with such an incredible, director and voice artist and executive producer, producers. Something that as women we can be really proud of and really boost. Yeah. Boost it up. Because I hadn't even heard about this until I got it in my inbox for PAX. So I think this is something we should really, really celebrate.
Sister, over here. What news?
The Pirate Council will be assembling soon.
And only one of us will be crowned leader. It would prove wise to stick to the shadows. Gopalai underestimates me. He has played a foolish trick. One he will come to bitterly regret. Everything has narrowed down to a single night. If you really want to know my story, then step into my shoes and prove yourself the worthy leader. Let's see how well you fare as the Pirate Queen.
Ugh, her voice is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the visuals look really clean, at least from what we could see there.
Yeah.
A lot of VR games seem like really kind of messy, and these seem very clean.
I'm excited to like dive into it a little bit more in
dive?
terms of like just dive.
Yeah.
Are you right into the fleet?
Yeah. You're about to? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I'm excited to just like see more about it and like you said too. Yeah, ocean. I'm very anchored to the concept.
I'm honestly very tempted to go find someone who has the VR set or see if I can rent one or something, because this is something that I would really want to play and to try and to just experience. It's very cool. I just think it's so cool. I'll just say it's cool over and over because I can't emphasize it more. If you follow my TikTok, you might have seen this already, but I'm really excited for this game as well. And we learned that this is actually an older game.
Yeah, it's a Flash game from like 2011, I think.
Yeah, and it's called Rose and Camellia Collection. It'll have more than one sort of storyline that you can play through. Really, just a pick it up and play kind of game, which I find very nice, very accessible. There's only 2 buttons and then motion controls. It is just the silliest, goofiest, funniest time. I love silly, goofy, funny. Y'all know me. That's my like saying. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So it has everything.
But if you want to be like a Pride and Prejudice Jane Austen character set in a 90s anime aesthetic,
then it has everything.
Yeah, just smacking people.
Yeah.
心の中のお嬢様つぼみにくるまれたままの柔らかなお札に戦い
She is nothing but a commoner.
I am no longer the timid woman you once knew.
からのその手傷ついてもいけない季節がある言葉じゃもう収まらない始めましょう帯
Just because you were married into this family doesn't mean you have class.
I am the one who will inherit the family. This house will be mine.
I shall make you obey me.
It will be a piece of cake for me to dodge your slaps.
Rose and Camellia Collection, coming soon on Nintendo Switch.
That's really a game for the gays.
It really is. So it's so funny. Like,
yeah, we had a blast playing it because we would and like you could play it with friends. Like we just passed the controller around between the 2 of us, and the little bits of plot in between are just enough to like be like, what the hell, you know? Like,
watch me make people slap out of it.
With all the background noise and all me making noises all the time. Ooh. Ooh.
If you see her do 2, she's gonna try to select twice.
Oh. Trying so hard not to laugh. Oh my god, her neck. Play style is very fun. You kind of have these tells, is what we call it in the gaming industry, is when a character will change its physicality to show you that it's going to do something, and you can dodge out of the way. They can also dodge your slaps, but you can do a soft slap, a hard slap, and then they eventually kind of will reach like a weakness state where they're kind of staggered, and you can just slap happy the crap out of them.
Silly.
And their necks just extend super far, and they look all beat up, and it's very funny.
They get bruised.
Yeah, when you dodge their slaps, you can counter slap, which is really fun. So
well, I think they said too that they're putting in like a local co-op, or not co-op, local multiplayer, so you can like slap each other.
Yes, which is so fun. Then we went to Armor Games, which is a publisher. I have already played this game in my personal time. I haven't streamed it yet. We spoke with the developers for Snacko. There are a couple in Canada, and they are just so sweet and lovely. And the game that they're making is so stinking cute. If you are an Animal Crossing lover, if you're a farming sim lover, if you're a Sims builder, you're going to love it.
Lift a curse and revitalize a ruined island in Snacko, where former Bake City kitties Momo and Mikan are starting a new life. Grow crops, raise fluffy cows, go fishing, exploring, customize and decorate as you please, and much, much more in this farming cat venture.
This game is really, really cute. I really enjoy it. I say that the Sims builders will like it because the developer was telling me about how she used to be a sim builder, or is a sim builder, and how everything snaps into place. You have to use all these mods to make everything go the way that you specifically want. And there's even a video on the Steam page that kind of shows this better than this one. But everything is extremely customizable. Like, you can change things from snapping on a grid to free placement on counters, off counters, on the walls, whatever you want. Very free for all in terms of like decorating. So if you're a decorator, you like to build things, you like to do whatever, it's really nice for that. You're also building an entire seaside town, which is really, really fun. So you get like a kind of the Animal Crossing aspect. There's farming, there's like very Stardew experience. You know, you're kind of going to get a little bit of all those different things that we all know and love all in one game where you're a freaking cat instead of a person, which is lovely. It's so stinking cute. I love that little car that just kind of like,
yeah, the car's really cute.
Yeah. And you get like a little mystical pixie friend who can change based on what you feed him. So there's really a little bit of everything for everyone. Very adorable 3D pixel game. They worked really hard on it. I think it's so stinking cute. I love it so much. Chara, take it away.
Okay, well, they had me play it there, and I've never used a Steam Deck before, so that was my Steam Deck first experience, was playing this game. And I felt so bad because I played like, we were there for half an hour and I played for maybe like 10 minutes and I was like, okay, I've gotten what I'm going to get out of this, because this is just not my type of game. It's very cute and it's the type of game that I can easily just sit and watch people play for hours and hours and hours, but you give me a list of things to do and say, here's all these things, here's all the stuff, do whatever you want with it. My brain goes, well, I want to plan. I want to sit this over there and put this over there. And it's like, I didn't know the game enough to like really be thrown into it like that with like a sandbox mode kind of thing. But I just had fun just wandering around, just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And just seeing what all was there, talking to other characters and stuff.
Lots
but
of
it's
cute
really
characters.
charming. It's really cute. Honestly, I would probably just drive around in the car all the time.
Yeah. Talk to Buff Pup.
Yeah.
Oh, here we are. Here we are.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So this next game is Nowhere Manor. It's published by Time Galleon. So Time Galleon is a visual novel publisher, and their biggest thing is they want the creators who they work with to tell whatever story they want, whatever presentation they want, anything, with like no interference. So it's just very like kind of auteur kind of style storytelling. And so we met with Roy Monoramas on social media. He's a Brazilian artist who did all of the art for this game, wrote everything, Like it's incredible the way this is all done. Just the color, the color stuff is so well done, so immaculate. And Roy has a background in comics, so every conversation box is like you're moving frame by frame in a comic. So everything has like unique art for the whole thing. It's got a wide variety of branching paths. Roy's partner was telling us that she'd put in, I think, 8 run-throughs of the demo, and she was still finding things that were new that were in it. And it was at least an hour that she's put in just in that. I feel like this is a game that I think it's a given that both of us are going to stream this when it's out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be the incentive for you to watch both of us, because we are going to make different choices. We're going to have different paths, and I can't wait. I can't wait at all for this. It's going to be so good.
The layers.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Both artistically and like as in terms of the writing. There's just like so many layers that we're gonna see in the trailer. But like
Yes.
I remember we sat down to play the demo, and I was like, I was
Not
literally
even, like, 2
behind
minutes
Chara,
later,
who's
we were
was I
like-
playing or were you playing?
You were playing it,
Yeah.
but we were like,
Yeah, I was literally pointing and like tapping on the screen, being like, "Look at this! Look how this is like that, and like look at this detail right here, and then look at all these layers. Look how many layers there are, and look how detailed all those layers are. Look at all this art." And apparently they were watching us do that.
yeah.
It was a lot to enjoy,
Yeah.
to take in, to appreciate. This is a really cool piece of art.
Yeah.
It's not just a game. I mean, not that any of the other games aren't art. They are art, but like, oh
This
my
one
god.
felt the most. This one felt like the most intentional in terms of like, this is the story,
Yeah.
the vision that I have as a single artist that I want people to experience. It's so cool.
It's so
It's
cool.
so cool, y'all. We loved it so much that Roy was like, "Oh, I wish you were coming tomorrow because I have this fun outfit that I had planned."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Bet, we'll be back." And
Yeah.
so we came back just to
So-
see Roy in this outfit, in this photo. This photo is from day 3. But yeah, I can't wait. Cannot wait at all for what is to come with this.
You also both have to watch Clueless.
Yes, that too.
So this is your reminder, and this is Roy's reminder to watch
Yeah.
Clueless.
Which I'm sure probably by now Roy has.
You
His
never
partner
know.
seems- well, his partner seemed pretty adamant, like, we're watching this in the next couple days.
Just in case they haven't. There's still time.
Yes, exactly. I can't wait.
Me too.
I'm so excited for it.
Just a little premise for y'all. This story is about Liber, who is a doll among hundreds of dolls. I believe Liber is 613.
I think so, yeah.
Something like that. And so they all just kind of go by their numbers, and they're all sort of programmed to do things for the angels and the demons. And one day, Liber kind of wakes up
Yeah.
as a doll.
Gains
sentience
and self-awareness.
and independence, and like names themselves, and they look out the window and there's like a graveyard of dolls, and they kind of have to start deciding what to do with their life or their liberation for Liber. So you kind of watch these angels, how they talk to each other. We don't really see any devils for like a little bit. You kind of have to decide what you're going to do, where you're going to go. And the whole time, once you kind of start your own personal journey of like, you get to go, you are being chased by the scientist who creates the dolls and programs them. So that's as good as a premise as you're going to get from me.
Well, and too, on top of that, the whole thing is you end up in the Nowhere Manor, and it's sort of like kind of a purgatory, like holding facility for beings that don't have a soul. And because Liber is a automaton, he doesn't have one. And so you're going about trying to obtain a soul so that way you can escape the Nowhere Manor and go out into the world. But the angels and demons also want to get a soul so they can leave. So you're dealing with all of these, like, are you going to go support the cult of angels? Are you going to go with the demons? Are you going to do your own thing? How are you going to navigate all these relationships and maintain your own sense of self and, you know, fulfill your own needs as an individual? So I can't wait. It is, I think it is the most thing out of everything we see. It's the thing I'm the most excited about.
Absolutely.
For me.
Yeah. I'm just so hyped for this. I just think like the replayability.
Oh my God, yeah.
The art design just drives me up the wall. It's so, like, in a good way.
Yes, like there's so much, like, I love stuff that has a lot of visual information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much visual information that it's like too much. It's like, it's just like a feast for the eyes because you get all the little lighting cue changes.
Yeah.
You get like the painterly strokes,
Yeah.
all of the
sketch
like,
lines.
Even in the architecture, like it's delicious.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to just dive in and just spend hours and hours and hours looking at all these backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. I think I was telling you, like, it kind of gives me like a more modern Amano.
Yeah,
kind of style.
It reminds me a lot of Amano, also Ayami Kojima, who did all like the concept art for Castlevania.
Yes. So
it's like a mix of those two, where it's like the really hyper detailed, really flourished stuff, but it's still very loose and kind of sketchy at the same time. So
we're so excited.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah. And then we went to a panel.
Yes, we went to support the Boston Gamers panel that was happening, or moderated by Juicy Garland, who's second from the left here, along with Missy Steak, who was on the drag panel with me on day 3, MT Hart, Chunzo, and Jules, who were all up there just representing the Boston Gamers community and what drag, cosplay, and being a nerd has done for them as queer people. So it was great. Loved them all. Like, they were so sweet. And it was very fun panel, very fun way to end the day too. So I loved it.
Yeah, I had a good time. We had good laughs. It was really a heartfelt panel. It was a very like accepting panel. There was a lot of really good like diversity in terms of like gender expression, gender identity, and coming to terms with those things and using, you know, an artistic outlet, whether that's cosplay or drag, to come to terms with those things, accept them, and embrace them, and how to do that. So it was just such a great array of information, as well as like, it's not just video games, it's also like there are specific tabletop games and how that can influence your queerness, how you can embrace your queerness through tabletop. I like that there are so many facets of gaming for us to use to our advantage and to use for our little journey of life, you know?
Yeah.
It was just a great panel.
Because like when I was looking through the panel schedule to be like, is there anything that I want to go to? Like we can fit in around schedules or whatever. And I wanted to go to, you know, if there was other drag things happening, I wanted to go and support, especially because it's like there doesn't have to just be one drag panel that is the drag panel. We can have a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
The more, the merrier, in my opinion. So I wanted to go and like just show up and show out for the for the divas. So it was a wonderful way to cap off the second day. I need to dive into these podcasts that Juicy does. Because Juicy is part of like a podcast network that's all like minority ran tabletop experiences, and a lot of them are games I've never heard of. So, because especially with being kind of new to tabletop stuff in general, I'm very keen to dive in and see what they're all about.
Yeah.
I agree. More drag panels in 2025.
2024. We can start this year.
That's true too. Start bringing them to West.
Yep.
Get
PAX
more out
and PAX
there.
Unplugged.
Yes. All the drag panels, all the time. All right.
Dawn of the final day.
Oh, I know it wasn't technically the final day of PAX, but it was the final day for us.
Yes. Here we are.
This was this is what I looked like when I got back to the hotel.
Yep.
Because I got caught out in the rain, and they had me use the parking. Like they had the con floor closed, or the exhibition floor closed, and the exit that I was directed to use was the parking garage in the back. And I said, well, can I just use the front? And they're like, no, you have to go this way. So I said, okay, I'm not going to argue with the security staff. I'm not going to make a scene. And so I go outside, and it's a downpour, and there's no overhang. So I'm soaked. So I showed up back in the hotel room, livid, because my phone had died. So I'm wandering the streets of Boston, having no idea where I'm going, hoping I get back to the hotel okay. Going around the back of the convention center around. So it was about half a mile that I had to walk in the rain in full drag. I dropped my bag that I got from one of our booths in a puddle. I screamed in the middle of the street. And then I got back and I was like, I'm miserable. This is the worst day of my life.
At first I thought she was mad at me.
My makeup did not budge, despite the fact I was in heavy rain and like 35-mile-per-hour winds blasting me in the face. It was a miracle my lashes were still on.
She handed them to me after an hour and a half of talking to me, even though she said she was going to take a shower to warm up. And she put them in my hand and they were soaking wet. And I was like, this is disgusting. Take this out of my hand.
I was like, here, feel this. You're what I had to deal with on my eyes this whole time. I could have just, rang them out.
So the first booth we went to, I went to.
Yes,
and
I was not done getting ready.
Yeah, I eventually went to, was Whitethorn. We did have a conversation. We had an interview about accessibility, Slime Heroes, and Mythwrecked Ambrosia Island. But we're going to show you all four, because why not?
Yes.
So let's start with Slime Heroes.
These should all look familiar to you all because you
Yeah.
watched the Whitethorn presentation.
But you never know.
Exactly. Never hurts to have a refresher.
I did see a recent article that discussed how Slime Heroes is like Dark Souls for kids. And I just think that's really cool.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, but Slime Heroes is co-op, which is fun, and you get to design your slime. So you get to choose its color on the inside and on the outside. You get to choose its eyes, its mouth, kind of the whole thing. I think it's adorable. I'm excited for it. Then we have Botany Manor. That's Botany Manor. Oh! We just got something in the mail.
Oh.
Oh, what's this?
Oh.
Fresh packaging and everything? Did you get anything in the mail?
Yeah, but it wasn't wrapped.
Oh. What? How strange.
I know.
Well, let me... Oh! The enduring estate of Botany Manor is home to retired botanist Arabella Green. After a long career, she has amassed a collection of rare, long-forgotten plants that require some research to help them live again. Play as Arabella and explore the stunning historic manor and its grounds to look for clues in her notes, books, posters, and items scattered around the residence to determine the correct set of circumstances to help the flora flourish. Unlock new seeds and plant them. Interactable items around the property can be turned and flipped. Will provide information to help you solve each gardening puzzle. Grow the plants and discover their mysterious qualities. Developed by Balloon Studios. How exciting! What a fun letter. It doesn't say to Chara or anything. I'm just kidding. But actually it does. There's a postage thing. But
oh my god.
This is so cool, and there's like a little pin on here that's like a little like stained glass rose window.
Oh, that's cute.
I wonder what could be inside. Chara, hold yours up. Oh. Interesting. What do you think mine is?
Maybe the same thing in a different color.
Oh. Well, look at this.
Oh! It is the same thing in a different color when on stream.
Somehow in a different color. Imagine that. This is nice.
Yeah.
This is a really nice book.
Quality.
Like, look at this gold. Look how shiny that is. If you want to see the color of green, it's the color of green that Chara has. Oh! What's this? Mine has stuff inside. Did yours have stuff inside?
I did not have stuff inside.
Oh. I have little samples. Little,
cute.
So I've got a windmill wort. And these are all drawn by Arabella Green.
How cute.
Yeah, they're all signed by her. That's really cute. We have a brook chalice. No, I know it's all chromed out, but you know. These are really cute. And a sapphire gloom mushroom.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. And that's nice, like, stock paper. There's a little letter in here. Dearest Chalora, we're so happy to have you back at Botany Manor. I hope you had a lovely trip. In your absence, I'm afraid some things in the manor have deteriorated, though I can assure you we tried our best to keep things in order. I hope it doesn't affect your research too much today. Bennett.
Oh.
Oh, and I have a game code. The person who wrapped this did a very good job. Thank you so much. But yeah, that's Botany Manor. I'm really excited for it. It looks very cute. It looks very up my alley. I know it's not bugs, but bugs are close to plants, so...
Yes.
We'll enjoy that. All right. We have Magical Delicacy and Myth-Wrecked Ambrosia Island. I'm so excited. So, Magical Delicacy is a Metroidvania where you don't fight anybody.
Yay!
Oh, yay! say you loved the demo for this. I did too. It's so cute and cozy, and you're a witch who loves to cook. So you literally set it and forget it, and you walk around to make friends, collect ingredients, further the plot. You just talk to people, do things, run around, have a good time.
I haven't played it because I don't normally play cooking games.
Yeah.
It's just not like something that tickles my fancy, especially somebody with RFID. It's just not like food things I have a hard time connecting with usually narratively. But I love the art style. I do love a frog, and I like the background art a lot too. The trees, especially, like all the textural work that goes into that.
Comes out later this year in summer, and it's really cute. Something that I noticed particularly with this game is that the characters' bodies are real. Not real like, obviously they're pixels, but like a lot of games have body shapes that are kind of all the same, and nobody has a butt, and like that kind of thing.
Stylized.
Yeah, they're not, and they might have like something, but it's not. Everybody's a pencil. No offense, that style's fine. But
yeah,
in Mythwrecked, there are so many body types, so many body shapes. Everybody has like a realistic, true shape, and I like that they embrace all these different shapes, all these levels of ability, and just different kinds of people, and you can see them all in the game. You play as this character, Alex, who's here on the right. She washes up on this island. I think if I recall, she was just on a vacation in Greece.
Yeah.
She washes up on this island on her way home, and she's trying to get off the island, and she meets Hermes, who is this kind of somewhat chubby guy in a thong. They all seem to don't really know who they are, but they're just there. And you talk to them, and you collect fruit, and you solve puzzles, and you collect things, and relationships with them, and you slowly develop, more information with these people who seem to be Greek gods, but maybe they're not. Who knows?
Just have to find out.
Yeah.
Play the game.
You just have to find out. So now we get to the accessibility portion of the conversation. So Whitethorn has an emphasis on accessibility and diversity in their games, and if you go to their website, you can find an accessibility tab, and all of the sheets look like this. And so these are just 3 of the examples from Magical Delicacy, Mythwrecked, and Botany Manor. They're probably really hard to read, impossible maybe, but you can do the research yourself so that you can see it better. But you can see how much goes into each of their games towards furthering accessibility in gaming, that they should be accessible to anyone who wants to play a game. I spoke with their previous chief of accessibility officer, and I asked her a bunch of questions like, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis as like your job, and like how does working with developers look, and things like that. And they really spend a lot of time figuring out what the best ways to make a game work are. Something we forgot to do when we started the stream was an accessibility thing. that I forgot to do, and we should have. It's something I meant to implement more frequently, which is
descriptive audio
or descriptive text. So that's things like when you post a picture on Twitter, there is an option for alt text where you can describe what the picture is. And I was always worried that I would under-describe or over-describe something. There's no such thing. That was something that we talked about with their chief of accessibility officer. We talked about, like, is there too much or is there too little, especially when you have drag involved. And I meant to do it, or we meant to do it at the beginning, and I think we kind of got wrapped up in the tech stuff that we were doing and just getting started. We meant to start with, hi, my name is Laura. I'm a Caucasian trans woman drag queen with brown hair, a pink party hat, and a sequin top, an asymmetrical sequin top, and that really takes no time at all to provide an audio descriptor. And as streamers, I think that's something that we can really easily implement. And you it's kind of nice to reaffirm for yourself sometimes. Even if you're a VTuber, you can describe your VTube model. You can even write it down if it's easier to just
read it off like a script.
And it can help people.
I also, while we were talking about this, I was looking stuff up about it the other night, and I had never heard that Netflix has descriptive audio built into it now. So as I was reading about them implementing it, I know they have it for Stranger Things, and so when you're watching the show, it'll be like, a dark night on this style house, and these people walk up to it, and so it's they read out the visual cues in a script, and it basically, listening to a show that way, it turns it into an audiobook that's fully cast with sound effects. Mm-hmm. So you can just put it on in the background and listen to your show instead of watching it. So it's it's really cool. It's really, really neat that more things are starting to implement that type of storytelling.
Yeah.
To make their work more accessible to people.
Yeah. One of the big features that they want to emphasize is input control. Mm-hmm. And being able to customize it if you need to, if your controller for everything that you do is, maybe a mouse, because maybe you only have access to one hand or one limb or whatever, and it's got, only a certain amount of buttons on it, or it might be one of those Xbox controllers because they make it custom ones on through Xbox. Having that option to be let me bind all these to my gamepad or whatever it is, it makes it playable for all different kinds of people. And that's something that Whitethorn emphasizes, and they try to work with, because they're just a publisher, so they work with the developers and things like that to make that stuff work. I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
it's something that we should work on more.
Yes.
Not only as streamers, but as developers and gamers.
I guess I should say it too. For me.
Yeah.
The fellow Caucasian trans drag queen,
with brown hair and
well, black now.
Oh.
But yeah, with my little black slicked back ponytail, sitting in a mountain of pink tulle with a little fascinator and pearl earrings.
See, that was easy. We then went to see 9 Games, which I believe is from Quebec.
Yes.
And we talked to them about their game Lost in Prayer. That's Lost in Prayer. It is kind of like Mystery Dungeon in terms of like its tactics and how it plays. But at the same time, you have two options when you start. You can go into heaven or you can go into hell. And so there's these two places you can kind of like go to fight, dungeon crawl through. Anytime you are defeated by an enemy, you get them in your repertoire. So you can, when you die, you go back to purgatory or whatever it is, and you can play as that enemy. And there are some secret enemies out there to find. So sometimes you'll be in a really good run and you'll get up there and there'll be an enemy you've never seen before and you'll be like, shit, I need to collect them, for my repertoire. I have to let them kill me. Yeah, it makes it really fun and interesting to play as all these different characters.
Yeah, and definitely adds to the replayability of like trying to get through with all of the characters.
And when you get tired of hell, go to heaven.
I'd never seen a tactical roguelite with that sort of mechanic before.
Oh, me neither.
So, I mean, it's a cool premise, for sure.
Then we went back to Ukiyo Studios and Shueisha Games. I played Captain Velvet Meteor, the Jump Plus Dimension, which is a mouthful. You play as this little boy who was born in France, but you go to live with your Japanese grandparents. So your family moves back to Japan. He kind of confronts anxiety in his life with imagination. So he likes to read manga. All these characters from the mangas he reads, which are Shonen Jump approved or licensed. Or are they? I think they are licensed, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They are all licensed characters.
Yeah, which is cool. Kind of get to accompany him on his little adventures of imagination through tactical RPG style. Oh, it's so cute. You only ever play with, your main character and a companion. And your first companion is a Roomba. So he has a friend, an imaginary friend in his Roomba. It's just so adorable and such a realistic but also like imaginary way of like dealing and confronting what's going on in our lives as kids and moving to a completely new country and the anxieties and pressures that come with that. Confronting it with imagination is just so close to home. I feel like that it's so like precious and like
Well, and we both played Rainbow Billy, and that's so much of that game, that sense of like childlike whimsy to process really hard things. Sometimes it works better than doing the things the way the adults tell you to do them. Just like that whole idea, because this was something that like for me as a kid, this was the kind of stuff I would do.
Yeah, same.
Like I would come up with stories of myself traveling on little adventures with characters from media that I really liked.
Yeah, that was me with my Fire Emblem characters.
That was me with Pokemon.
Yeah,
really.
Pokemon too.
My teams, and then I would create my own characters that went in that world. But eventually, I was no longer in this scenario.
Yeah. For those who are curious, the two character combat system is pretty fun, honestly.
Yeah.
You fight giant hordes of these like enemy creatures. How it works is you and your companion you share a health bar, like a power gauge or whatever, and there are environmental hazards you need to approach. Sometimes you need to hit a button, but you and them kind of go through this thing, and you each have like a different fighting style or like range indicator. Like some of them sweep, some of them attack forward, some of them are ranged. Depending on who it is, you each have a different like companion move. So sometimes that's like a big AoE that hits like a lot all at once. Sometimes it's very much like a more powerful charged beam forward. And then you have a like a super move. You need to collect a yellow essence. I forget what it's called.
I think it's a little orb.
Yeah, you need to collect 3 of those little yellow orbs throughout the level. Again, still strategy RPG kind of thing like Fire Emblem. You know, if it's either sometimes it's behind the other character or whatever it is, and it will do like the super move. You can defeat these like bigger monsters or more powerful ones, or, you know, and they all do different interesting things. And every time you defeat enemies, you regain health. It's kind of this push and pull and like a little bit of patience, because if you go too far by yourself, you get swarmed and you lose all your health at once. So it's really interesting how this mechanic works.
And like so much of the storytelling like in between from the main character is done with like little doodles.
Yes.
That he does. And he like takes little notes and he'll be like, this is my family.
And the dad looks evil.
Yep.
So I'm really excited to play more of this. Oh, what's this? Ocean Drive Studio in a PAX review.
Oh.
Who would have guessed? Me? Ocean Drive? I love Ocean Drive so much.
Yeah, they're very fun.
Yeah. Here's Rebecca. Everyone say hi, Rebecca.
Rebecca.
She was very sweet, very kind.
Like windshield wipers.
Yeah. We got swords for Veil of the
Wow.
Witch, which I have very exciting news for. But we're going to talk about Blackout Protocol first. You played Blackout Protocol. You tell me about it.
Yeah, so it is a top-down isometric co-op roguelite shooter where you fight zombies. And I first did not know what to expect out of it, and I thought, oh, this is going to be kind of scary. But I got really into it. I will probably stream it at some point because it was fun. It was very, very fun. They sent me a key for it, so might as well.
And I also own it.
Oh.
Two-player.
The character that is kind of behind Chalora in the picture of us with Rebecca was who I played as. Her name is Scalpel. She's a surgeon. And she does like psionic damage, and so she does like all this weird like up close, like you let things get really close to her and then she can like blast them all and like just nuke them when they're in close quarters. So
And she gets health back.
Yes, and she heals off of it, so it's fun.
It's
Yeah,
up to 3 players, and
Yes.
There's multiplayer, and it's roguelite. So each time you get buffs to your weapons if you find the blueprints for them, and you get credits throughout the game that you spend at the computer between areas of the game.
And there is only one man
On a cast of
which
4.
Yeah.
5.
And he's just because the narrator girly, she's like your contact.
Yeah.
To help you get information, who is voiced by Allegra Clark, voice of Mitsuo Kirijo in Persona 3 Reload, so we love and adore her. But yeah, the male character is just like a man. Like I think his name is Boy Scout.
It is.
Because he like follows the rules. Like that's this whole thing. And then you've got like this like kind of mean kind of mad scientist woman, and then you've got like kind of the kooky scientist lady, and then you've got the more like the
Mercenary.
robotics. Yeah, the more like the merc character. So I mean it's cool and it's fun. I enjoyed it a lot. And that's saying something as somebody who does not like feeling rushed upon.
This woman is kooky?
She is now.
She is now. This is old. We don't talk about her.
The redacted design.
The redacted design. There's a deep cut for the people at Ocean Drive. I still have it.
But yeah, you get out of your car and you like open the trunk, get your guns, and then you go.
Careful of that friendly fire.
I don't like when they run.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like rounding a corner and they like come out of like a shutter door opens and they just start flying at you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's scary.
I've been playing this for about a year. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it, and the team aspect is really fun as well. And like when you finally get past an area for the first time, it's like, ooh, it just feels so good. It just gets scarier.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun. But it's not too scary. It's just like thrilling.
Yes. Yeah, makes you have to think fast.
Yeah, and like the different weapons and the options and then like the powers and the power-ups keep it interesting and exciting. As someone who like went to play it years ago and still playing it now, it's something I ask my friends to play every once in a while because I like it. Well, speaking of what I like,
yes,
I had the privilege to play Lost Islands Veil of the Witch once again. I have played Lost Islands. It's very fun. Honestly, a great competitor to games like Fire Emblem, who rarely have a person of color in the cast. Just something we should talk about, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's been how many years of Fire Emblem? It's 2024, and I think the latest title, Engage, had some people of color in it.
I think there were 2 at least.
3 or 4, but out of the huge cast.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were good representations or not. It's not for me to say. But I also didn't play Engage because it didn't appeal to me. I like the older Fire Emblem games. It's too late for me. I'm on Lost Islands now. Yes. And the representation is just getting better. Your main character can be black or white. There are different options for the main character. They can also be male or female presenting. And you have never seen this kind of strategy game before. It is a grid Fire Emblem type game where you have to be very tactical, but it's also a roguelite. So at the beginning, you pick up to 5 characters. Is it 4 or 5? I think it's 5. Pretty sure it's 5 from a preset list of 9. And I mean, you can even see in this picture behind Chara in the middle, there's some of the characters there on the wall. And they all kind of have their own specialty. When I played at the demo, I was like, I'm going to be all the Fierce Slay Divas. And they are really cute. The designs are really cool. I love them a lot. They're diverse, which is nice. They're majority women.
Yes.
Which is also really nice to see. Just like Blackout Protocol, majority women characters, which is really opposite to the typical options in the genre. You have different branching paths that you can go down. So when you finish a battle, which way do you want to go? If a character dies in one of the battles, they come back, but they have 1 HP. So what are you going to do about it? Sometimes you'll get a rest, sometimes you won't. You have to get really lucky, just like any roguelite does. And it's a lot of fun. Choosing between things, choosing your characters, how you're going to confront different combats. Sometimes you go into combat and you're kind of in a mountain pass, like a valley, and they've thrown poison bombs behind you that are spreading fast. And so you have to push forward, but there's these ridiculous enemies ahead of you. So you kind of have to push and pull your characters backwards and forwards to really do your best. And if you're not prepared for that, it's over. So it really tests your ability as a player if you love strategy games like this. There are large monsters that have multiple weakness points that are based on weapon types, so it adds an extra element of fun in that way. I guess kind of the special addition to strategy is there's kind of this element of zombification or undead in this particular iteration of Veil of the Witch. So we're going to look at the trailer and talk a little bit more about it. Oh, she's slay.
Yeah.
Look at that cast.
Yeah, literally.
Can I just say, look at that cast.
It's so cool to see people of color in something that's like so Western fantasy.
Yeah,
Especially
it's
after,
possible.
Yeah, Yoshi P.
Not to always compare it to them, but like,
yeah,
they are the head of the genre. Like,
yeah.
And I'm tired of it. And I would rather play games like this where there's an array of people and they're all different.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's more than one black skin tone.
Yes, that too.
There's more than one hairstyle. There's more than one, like, you know, everything. It's not just, here's your token, whatever character. Here's a bunch.
Yeah.
Here, have a handful. Have
And
a
they're-
majority.
and
they're all hot. Yeah, they're all hot. Like, look at these people. They're great. I love them a lot. I'm really excited for this game. Even the villain is a black woman, or at least one of the villains. I'm not sure if she's the villain. I'm not sure if, you know, whatever. But like, I was just so excited when I saw her for the first time. Karina, she's one of the first people you saw there at the beginning. I was like, oh my god, who is that? Who is that fierce slay diva? Who is this? And I think I even nudged Chara because she was next to me playing Blackout Protocol, and I was like, look at this diva. But this game is very exciting. They removed inventory management. So like, there's no, let's go back to base camp and let me reorganize all my items. Let me move my vulneraries. Let me move my potions. Let me move my iron sword and my this shield and my that and my this and my hoo-hoo and my ha-ha. No, there's none of that. You level up. And when you're in combat, when you level up, the first level up is always going to be an ability boost. You either get one of two different abilities, and so you really get to decide: is my character, maybe it's a healer, maybe it's this healer diva over here. Is she going to focus on healing or damage? Is she going to do light magic or is she going to heal? Decide. And each of them have different like specialties. Like Miss Girl here in the red with the brown hair, blondish. Like, she specializes in bow and arrow, environmental damage, and traps. And, like, what are you going to choose? Beyond that, sometimes you won't get an ability. Sometimes you get stat upgrades. So, like, are you going to focus on crit damage or crit protection? Because now, in this iteration, you know, there's not just crit chance, there's block chance. It's the opposite of a critical hit, where you have a shield instead of an attack. Which is really cool. When you shoot fire arrows, forests go on fire, like, and they burn, which is so cool. When you make a wet area or there's a puddle and somebody's wet, you can electrify it and it hits everybody around them, or you can freeze it and it freezes them. There are just so many cool things about this game. I gotta breathe. And the franchise that I just love so much, and I always love seeing them every single time I come. And I've been excited since Lost Eidolons, and I continue to be more and more excited now with Veil of the Witch. They're just doing the most and the best, and I really want y'all to be excited with me, because this shit's exciting. When I've loved Fire Emblem as a franchise for so long as a kid, and like growing up, and now we have things like this that I can like really thoroughly enjoy. I had such a good time playing my one run through for over an hour at the Ocean Drive booth. And I wanted to do another one right away because it's so easy to just go. Like, you finish one battle, you go to the next one. You finish one battle, you go to the next one. It's not, let me go back to camp, let me do all my conversations, let me do this, let me do that. So it's really easy to just enjoy, and you can play at your own pace. You know, you have an hour between whatever, or you're doing 2 different projects. Let me finish this project and then play Lost Islands Veil of the Witch for an hour, and then let me go on to the next project. Easy.
When you were saying too that this originally was supposed to be DLC for the first game, right?
Yeah.
And then he decided he loved it so much he was like, "Oh, this is a full game."
Yeah. The director for this game and the creator of this game is very passionate about the franchise. When I speak with him, he is just over the moon. And I love talking to him. If you couldn't tell, I like it a lot.
I know.
I could just sit here and talk about it forever. There are so many aspects that make me excited and that make me proud to keep coming back to Ocean Drive.
Yeah, like they definitely. I mean, I'd never played either of the games. I had just only heard you talk about how much you love the first Lost Islands. So I was excited just to like see it. I played a little bit of it, but not enough to like really get into it. I may have to play the first one now.
It's different.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of in a roguelite era right now, so wouldn't be a bad idea.
Maybe just wait for Veil of the Witch then.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, of course, literally.
Afterwards, we went to Armor Games again.
Back to back.
Back to back. 2 different games, 30 minutes each. We went to see Paladins, which if y'all remember, I've done a collab with Sukerbaba for this. Loop games are hot right now. I've been telling you. It's very cute. The art is very cute.
Yeah.
We got a little dancer.
Yes, which this kind of goes to the question that I was asked a little bit ago of did we get any more merch or swag besides the Whitethorn stuff? And so it's like, oh, well, we'll get into it. So we got a little dancer keychain. It's very cute.
We also got the Khmeru one, which is made of wood.
Yes. It's a little frog. It's a little baby.
Little baby. I think we also discussed with whoever we spoke to about Paladins that the characters are genderless?
Yes.
All the characters are genderless. Not necessarily non-binary, but genderless.
There's just no definite gender for any of them, so you can just kind of ascribe whatever you read into it.
Yeah. And visually, you can do that very easily.
Yeah. Oh, that's the frog trailer.
Do you want me to start over?
Oh, it's fine.
So adorable. Paladins is a party game. You can also play it by yourself, which is fine. You go on these little quests with your little pals or by yourself, and inevitably at the end of a week or at the end of 6 weeks, I think it's a 1 week per thing. I don't think it's per day, but I could be wrong. I think it's
like
a week.
they can't like travel, so it's like every 6 weeks.
Yeah, a Leviathan dragon, the thing comes out of a well and eats everything. But there's like a time loop in his belly, and it brings you right back to the start. And what are you going to do now? And eventually down the line, you can continue to bring different items that you've collected that the Leviathan swallows with you since day one, which is kind of cool. When Sukerbaba and I and Mickey played Paladins the first time on stream, we did 1%. One run, 1%. We finished everything in that first run that you can possibly do. 1%. The game is huge.
Yeah.
The art is incredible. It's very Paper Mario, very 3D. It's very cool. I adore the character design.
Yeah. It's really cute.
The Luxomancer with the light bulb afro hair is genius. I talk too much.
It's really cute. It's really sweet. I can't wait to play more of it because I played it with you when it was like first like the pre-alpha demo.
A year ago.
It was just that first little section, and now there's all this new stuff far beyond that I'm excited to like sit down and really dig into.
Yeah, I think it's really, the writing is excellent.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Sapphic stuff, which we love. Immediately Sapphic stuff. It's great. Off to a good start. The gameplay is a lot of fun, collecting things, the decisions you get to make. The characters are so whimsical and funny, and the idea that you can like get together with your friends and really get the essence of goofy, silly, funny D&D without having to actually like sit down and make it all. That's really nice. Like you can just relax, sit back, and just enjoy it. You could get together with your friends every week. This is our Paladins day, and then you play for hours, and then you're done and loop again. Keep playing until the game is done, because that
the little creatures and the salamander and the
the salamander. Why don't you tell us about Kimeru?
Yes, so
I'm gonna
we
move
should
my
be
hat so we can see the trailer.
We should be pretty familiar with this game on both of our channels because we both streamed the demo. And I've been excited about this game since it was announced in the Wholesome Direct last June. But it is Kimeru, a Frog Refuge. So it is a very casual, very cozy little game where you come onto like a wetlands preserve and you repopulate the frogs there. So you crossbreed them, you document the species, you buy furniture to attract the frogs to the preserve, and then you just look at them while they're cute, and they just sit and they sleep and they lounge about in themed furniture, and it's very darling. When we talked to them, we got to see some of the other biomes that hadn't been in that first demo. So we only got to see the first one, but there's expanded biomes beyond it, and those expanded biomes are different ecological locations. And so there's like a mangrove area that is kind of like, I'm not sure where specifically it's supposed to be located, but they wanted to choose different environments that you don't necessarily see represented in a lot of talks about like ecological preservation, especially like with wetland things and frogs. So it's just like, it opens up a really nice conversation about the importance of nature preservation, animal conservation, and just taking care of the world around you in a more ecologically friendly way.
Yeah.
So it's cute. There's like I think we saw 3 overall biomes.
Yeah, there were 3 biomes.
Yes, and then all of the biomes, the helpers that are each one are all different. The mangrove section, you like grow flowers, and then once you've gotten enough flowers, you can like go over to this like collection, and then bam, you've made a potted arrangement that you can just stick wherever.
Or you can dye clothes.
Yes, because then I want to say it's like Bangladesh kind of energy, like that region, but with the region where they've set that specific biome, they would dye clothing with flowers and plants, like just very naturally part of their process. So in the first section, we like made jam, canned fruit things. And so in this section, like the craftables are different in every biome.
Yeah.
And so it encourages you to like really expand your inventory and expand how much money you're making, and like so you can get even more stuff, because then you have like collectionist aspects to it, because then you can get themed furniture sets in each different biome. So the first one, the first one's like all froggy stuff, and then there's one section where it's all like bug themed furniture, and then it's very cute. I love it so much. And again, it's another thing where you can really tell the passion of the team at Humble Read when they made this, because they're like, it's a low stakes game. There's no penalties for doing anything wrong because you can't really do anything wrong. It's just you go in, you make all the stuff, and then put everything out there.
Little pictures of your frogs.
Oh, I went one slide. I went back a slide. There we go. But yeah, the little frog you slide, it's so cute. And then you like crossbreed them with like Punnett squares, which is very fun. It's very sweet. And just from what we saw, like it's very expansive.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what all we've got coming out.
Me too. It'll be just a nice game to just relax to. And
Definitely.
like
It's very zen.
Keeps us mindful as well about like the environment and the animals that live there.
Yeah. At this point, that was the last of the games that we saw. We parted our separate ways for a couple hours. So we went back to the hotel, started packing, because we had an early train to catch the next morning.
We did have an early train.
I went.
Trans on the train.
Went our separate ways. I went off to do the drag panel, which, fun little fact, that Chalora started at PAX years ago. So it was fun to kind of be a part of that legacy for a year and be in that room on that panel and get to be a part of something that my friend started. It's like, I think we need to give credit where credit is due.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so I was there. I had my little black and red pumps. The only one on the panel in a heel. Etoile was in a platform, but everyone else was in a flat, which, you know, it's a con, whatever, do your thing. But I was like, I'm gonna be prepared. I may have had holes in my tights from my bag's Velcro ripping them, but I caught it, and then I stood appropriately, and I crossed my legs in every photo, so you couldn't tell that it was there. So,
how would they ever know?
Exactly, because I won't shut up about it. It's the same kind of energy as, like, when somebody's like, oh, I like your dress, and you're like, oh, thanks, has pockets.
I love doing that.
It was $7 at Ross, you know,
Yeah.
like whatever. Like it's.
You like to bring
like,
stuff up, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a detail you don't need to share, but I will share it anyways.
They have to know.
Exactly. How else will they feel sympathy for me? I don't know. It was a very fun panel. It was really nice getting to meet people afterwards and chat about what we talked about. I personally love doing panels because I love talking. So it's,
you?
I know, big surprise. It was so fun. You know, you literally, if you go here, do you want to talk to a captive audience? I say yes.
You'll talk to me when I'm asleep.
That's true. I will just talk, honestly. And it's not that I like the sound of my own voice. It's just I will just go. We're just sitting there talking. Chalora's fallen asleep. I'm looking up at the ceiling, and I'll be like, you know, and I'll turn over and like look, not even knowing I can't see her, and then she'll just go in the middle of the night. It was very fun, very funny. And then we packed it all up and
got on a train.
And went and saw a friend of both the channels, Mia Easylay. I did a show out there with her. We played Mario Party.
I won.
I got a star on the first turn, and Chalora won. Got all the bonus stars.
It was not fair.
And I hit Chalora and Mia both with a hammer. They both screamed.
We deserved it.
Very fun. It was very funny.
Yeah.
They were chasing around light bulbs, and I said, no light bulbs for you.
And we played Pokemon Stadium mini games.
Yes. And then Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yes. Mia, if you're out there, are you playing Pokemon Puzzle League? Have you been practicing?
And we talked a lot about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, and then we played it.
Well, it was a very fun trip. Like, all in all, I told you this beforehand, but like it was legitimately like the most fun trip I've ever had, because it was like I was just with my girls.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun.
It's the same for me. It was very nice.
Yeah, it was a nice step away from the busyness of life for a while. Like, we got all the busy stuff out, but like that Monday when Mia was like, let's go do something, what do we want to do? And we're like, we just want to exist. Like, we don't need to do anything. We can just hang out and like
have
be silly
and
play video games,
do
and
nothing.
Yeah, it was very nice. 'Cause I think for both of us, it was really like the first day we really had off from anything for quite a while. Get to be present in the moment with my friends and
just be girls.
Yeah.
Oh yes, special mentions.
Yes. So after the panel, I would have been back at the hotel a little earlier, But I met up with RadiantG, who is a site lead for Press Space to Jump, and is also a co-developer on Inside, which I had heard about in press things. So the second I realized that he worked on this game, I was like, oh, perfect. We have to talk about this. Because it's very cute, and this is another game that I think folks, really in both of our communities, they're really going to enjoy it. Because it's very, like, up both of our alleys.
Yeah. Also, like, if you liked Captain Red Velvet as an idea, like, similar premise.
Yeah.
Every kid draws. But for young Hannah Myers, her imagination has created a whole new world. Full of doodles, danger, drama.
How long have you been around here, kid?
Oh, just a couple days.
And weird dialogue.
I'm the princess of cursing. Though, you can call me Trap.
Play a stick.
Say hello to my shield. That won't stop me.
Trap.
Oh, sure! Just run away!
Follow a whole cast of characters who are fighting against the Sog invading Hannah's notebooks. Inside. An action RPG with unique dodgeball bullet hell combat, mashed with a beat 'em up.
Run!
Where your gear changes your abilities. Coming to early access on Steam.
Cute.
It's cute. You play as Stick, who is a non-binary character who has one arm because they are an unfinished sketch, an unfinished idea. And the whole premise is that the girl who drew them and drew all of the other characters that you come across in the game in her books, there's water dripping into all of her art, and so it's causing things to bleed together. It's causing the creatures to become distorted and a little off kilter. It's just like it's really cool the way it's presented, because there's also like full motion, like live action video elements to it too, that play the story outside of the sketchbooks before you go into them. So the premise, I think, is really genius. And I also just love that there's a fairy princess who's the princess of cursing, and she just swears like a trucker. It just feels very funny, very tongue-in-cheek, and
Genius.
Just very goofy. And we love a goofy game.
I do love a goofy game.
But then there were a few other games that were at PAX that we didn't get a chance to see, that we wanted to take some time to talk about as well.
Yeah.
Mainly Be My Horde, Lisanga, the Time Shift Warrior, and Widow, which the latter two I've shown on the channel in some capacity.
So the first here is Be My Horde. It was shown at the Polish booth, and you play as, I forget her name, but she's a necromancer, and it kind of gives like Vampire Survivor vibes, but you can't attack. So she's a necromancer, she commands the dead, and she has like an undead horde when you start the game. And the living keep trying to attack you, and when you kill the living, you can use them to become the dead. So
it becomes kind of like Pikmin.
Yeah, and you become her horde. So let's watch.
I am Moriana, the necromancer. Tremble before me and blah blah blah. You know the drill. Let's not waste time on chit-chat. Deeds, not words. And we do have work to do. This land is begging for my artistic touch. Pathetic, insignificant beings, their bodies mere vessels for my religion. Rise in my shadow, little minions. Rise under my command. Become my army. Become my servants. Be my horde.
Yeah, very much inverse Vampire Survivors. Lisfinga we saw this during Summer Game Fest, I believe. We saw this, last year. And I was very excited about it because you know me, I love a fierce slay diva with a high ponytail. And that's exactly what we get here.
Oh, word.
So you ultimately, I think the way it works is like every time you die, you create a copy of yourself that will run back through your previous actions. So you can have all these duplicates of yourself running around doing things that worked successfully the first time to get you to advance, and then you can progress further.
Yeah.
And so it's all of these little copies running around the whole time, which I think is very fun.
Yeah, and like if you find something too hard, but like you almost won, it becomes like a million times easier.
Yes. And then we have finally Woodo, which was also in the Wholesome Games Direct, I believe last year or the year before.
The trailer doesn't show you a lot.
No, but basically it's kind of like an I Spy kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
You get like this thing with wood block puzzles and it'll be like, here, find an apple in this scene. It's this specific apple. And then you look through the room, the environment to find it. Everything is made out of wood. That's the premise.
It's also just very cute.
Yeah. And there's a very cute little frog in the promotional stuff for it. I don't believe that the frog is in the trailer, but the frog is very adorable.
Aww.
It's so cute.
Now I want an egg.
But yeah, it's a found object game. So it's very, very cozy, very casual. Very comfy.
Yeah.
There's always a market for games like that. That basically wraps up our PAX East 2024.
Yeah.
2024. We do have a couple more things.
Yeah, I don't know what this. I accidentally went over there. I don't know what it is, but we can say our goodbyes on that screen, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's pop over there.
I don't know who those people are, but
I know.
I don't know what it's for.
We'll just have to find out.
It's an announcement time. Wake up, everybody.
I mean, thank you all for hanging out today, for checking out our little recaps and spending all this time with us. This was so fun. I can't wait to do this again.
Yeah.
And hopefully in September we'll have another one of these for West.
Yes. Well, maybe October. Well, no, it should be September.
Yeah, because it's like late August into early September.
Yeah. I just want to give a big thank you to PAX for continuing to support me and my little channel and what I do. And I hope they know that every time I go, I work so hard.
Yeah.
And this year especially, I wanted to make a better, more special presentation. And I really want to try to work more with the devs, work more with the teams, work more with, these production companies and the games. And what I've done with PAX and PAX Together is really important to me. I do have a PAX Together like styrofoam thing. I have it on my wall, and I look at it all the time, and it just makes me happy. And I really love that I can provide some queerness, some transness, some drag, and some beauty to the event. I know people don't come to PAX to see me. I don't think anyone else ever has. But I love going to PAX. I love talking to devs. I love hearing the stories behind games. I love hearing the stories behind art. And it's always an honor and a privilege to work with PAX. And thank you for coming with me, Chara.
Of course, thanks for having me tag along for everything. Like it was so much fun. Really meant a lot to me that you wanted me there.
Yeah. Chara and I are going to say goodbye, but we ask that you stick around.
Yes. Just for a little bit.
Yeah, because you're going to want to.
Yes. You don't want to miss.
Yeah, you don't want to miss anything. But we're going to go away, but you don't want to miss nothing.
Yes.
So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you those who wish listed or asked questions. I'm sure we'll be talking about more about these games on another stream or
absolutely.
Or somewhere else.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Okay. Yes, we'll see you then.